female version of a hustler. Of a hustler. Of a hustler. My diva is a female version of a hustler. Of a hustler. Of a hustler. When it cool up, wanna pop my hood up. Betty better have a six pack in the cooler. Getting money. Divas getting money. If you ain't getting money, then you ain't got nothing for me. Tell me something. Tell me something. Where your boss at? Where your boss at? My ladies up in here, they like the top wax. I wanna see ya. I like to meet ya. What you said to me? She ain't no diva. My diva is a female version of a hustler. Of a hustler. Of a hustler. My diva is a female version of a hustler. Of a hustler. Of a hustler. Since 15 and my stiletto been shorting in this game. What's your age? Was the question they asked when I hit the stage. I'm a diva, best believer. You see how she getting paid. She ain't calling him the greeter, don't need him her best mate. This is a sticker. I need them bags, all that money. I'm a sticker. I see the mask, all that money. All my ladies get it up. I see you, I do the same. Take it to another level. No passengers on my plane. I'm not the diva. Hey. I'm not the diva. Hey. I'm not the diva. Hey. I'm not the diva. This is a stick up. I need them bags, all that money. Stick up. You see the mask, all that money. My diva is a female version of a hustler. Of a hustler.
Kind of religion are you going to offer China? The same religion that you used to enslave Africa? To enslave Central and South America? What kind of religion are you going to offer the people? Hell, you better go on home and offer religion to your sinful and wicked self. A new day for China, a new day for Korea, a new day for Asia, a new day for us. Because when we were in the war fighting against the Japanese, because we don't know you as our brother. We were the slaves of a white America, but when we were captured, the Japanese would look at us and say, same. In other words, why are you fighting for your enemy? That's a good question. Why would you join the army of your enemy? If you're in it, get out of it. Because soon you'll be in a fight that you won't live from. He has a way of putting the poor on the front lines, the black, the Hispanic, the brown. You that claim your new right of citizenship in America, he'll make you do the fighting. Like when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. See, we never understood what their reason was. And the Japanese Americans suffered. But they don't care that you're an American, you're Japanese, and maybe your loyalty will be to the emperor. Therefore, we put you in a concentration camp, took all your property, took your money, took your life's work. But now they're willing to pay the Japanese reparations. But they have not offered you one dime for the 400 years. When it comes time to talk for this, you be quiet. God has raised somebody to speak for you that will not compromise your future. They can't buy me, and they can't frighten me out of telling you the truth. China has risen up.
And we are back. The time, of course, is Delta time. It's 9:13. We are up live on Facebook. Be sure to like the WVON page. Interact with me. I'll talk back with you. Of course, you're listening to the Cleopatra Show. Be sure to like and share the show. Be sure to subscribe to the new YouTube channel. That's right, the Cleopatra Show right there, YouTube. And listen, guys, if you'd like to keep up with me exclusively, be sure to follow me across all social media platforms at Follow Cleopatra. You heard that powerful voice. That was the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who came with the message. All week, it has been my honor to uplift and pay homage to the First Lady of the Nation of Islam. That's right, Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, who today will be viewed right there at the Mosque of Miriam from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And we're going to continue to uplift to who she is and all that she was. I want you all to understand contextually where I'm going, to who she is and all that she was. And today's segment will be in tribute to the women she's raised. You've heard me say it all week, but for decades, she and her husband of 72 years have been dedicated and steadfast in building the Nation of Islam. And with that being said, what is more profoundly obvious to me is throughout that journey, she's raised a nation of women, wide and far, that aren't all necessarily under the umbrella of the Islamic faith. And that's a powerful attribute. And I'm honored to deliver it to you. So I want you to join in the conversation because you heard the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, even reparations to the Japanese. And some of you Negroes will call me and fight me tooth and nail about what you don't need and what you don't want. And I tell you straight up, I'll take your check and I can turn it on a dime to transform. Because whether you listen to Mr. James or not, we all need an escape plan up out of this camp. Just trying to tell you. Anytime you flying a luxury plane in the sky, you don't find nothing wrong with that. Anytime your president made $1.4 billion in crypto and the jobs report is half of its underperformance, there's a problem. The grift that keeps on grifting, the Gilded Age on steroids. The headlines are crystal clear for those that really understand historically what I mean by the Gilded Age. You understand haves and have-nots. Let me make it plain. It's a thoughtful Thursday. And I wanted you all to think. When the minister is discussing what to get out of, or what you ought not sign up for, and who you ought not fight, think about all the Black 5-star generals that not only been stripped, but fired, to be replaced with 2-star generals that they had to add 3 stars to just to get the role. A slap in the face. But then they want to tell you how you shouldn't protect diversity, equity, and inclusion. I damn near agree, because they sure in the hell didn't earn it. See what DEI means? Shout out to my pastor, Pastor Moss. That's what this is about. This is a purge. It's an absolute purge. And who's been warning a brother more years than I've been living is the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who we allowed, and I'm going to say we, not, I'm a shorty, but to be scraped from social media, in these public spaces, lambasted with all of these titles and isms and what he is and ain't. Get out of my face. At the end of the day, the bold grifting and brazen racist that is systemically structured and these systems that got us barricaded in oppression and depression, when you ready to break free. I have a very special guest that's going to come on with us. I thank God that he is going to share his time, because I know the work that is ahead of him today and especially tomorrow. But he has been so supportive in my effort to this week being dedicated, every show being dedicated to Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, and I thank God for him. So when we come back, I see you all in the chat. I see the phone line, 773-591-1690. If you served, is this a slap in your face? I think about it. My father lays to rest in Abraham. So I know a little something about that. A number of my uncles have fought and served in the army. Is it a slap in your face? Bone spurs. The same man that that said they were fools for dying. This is who's your commander in sleep. Right now, the biggest fight is which 250 do you go celebrate? Freedom 250 or America's 250? The grift that keeps on grifting. I want you all to think about this. And I bring this up because tomorrow's show is going to be off the chain. And I'm coming with a whole different feng shui of how Black America, and it's not no rebirth or no new birth, we've been here, how Black America is now looking at the 4th of July. And in that conversation, did you hear the minister? I'll be back after this break.
More from Cleopatra coming up next on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Are you ready? Not just to do hair, but to build a real beauty business.
If you're a stylist, a barber, or a beauty professional, this show is for you.
I'm Nidra Williams of Solo Beauty Supply.
I'm Dr. Lekashan, trichologist and salon owner.
Breaking down real strategy, real growth, and what it takes to win in this industry.
Tap in, lean in, and level up.
The Hair Salon Tour Show, where beauty professionals become business powerhouses. Join us Saturday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Where beauty professionals become business powerhouses. WVON 1690.
It's D.L. Hughley.
When you see things like what happened in Virginia, where they had a special election and expanded seats for the Democrats, Republicans have been putting their fingers on the scale of the elections forever. They've always done it. They've always gerrymandered. But now they have gerrymandered everything to the nth degree that they don't have any more room to gerrymander. And now these Democrats have picked up 10 to 12 seats. Even after this is all over, we got to get back to people who are involved in the pedophile ring. We got to get back to ICE brutalizing people. So the war is a distraction, but from some pretty horrible.
Weekdays at 5 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
100 years ago, a genius was born in Chicago. His name was Oscar Brown Jr., and this summer, we're celebrating his birthday. Join Maggie Brown and family for the OBJ Free Community event. It's part of Jazz in the Court from noon to 5 on July 10th, featuring live jazz, spoken word, and showcasing Chicago's Africa Quarter, youth activities, and so much more. It'll be a day of joy, creativity, and a celebration of one of Chicago's legendary artists. Oscar Brown Jr. Day, Friday, July 10th at Harper Court in Hyde Park. Admission is free. RSVP at hbjazz.com.
WVON traffic and weather now.
We're looking at a 20-minute triple on the Ryan from 95th Street into downtown. Outbound, things are pretty quiet. Things have remained quiet all morning long along the Bishop Ford and Tuskegee Airmen Memorial. As you make your way along DuSable Drive, things are nice and light there each way. No changes on the Stevenson, still that 35-minute trip in from I-355 to DuSable Drive outbound. Give yourself 35 there as well. The Eisenhower down to 40 minutes from Thorndale to the Burns Circle. That outbound trip remains a 40-minute trip. And as you make your way along the Kennedy, you're looking at just 26 minutes from O'Hare to downtown. Getting to the airport, moving well, just 22 minutes. Taking a look at our weather, we're seeing some sunshine and another hot day in Chicago. The National Weather Service says that excessive heat warning will remain in effect in our area until tonight. Temperatures are expected to climb into the mid-90s. 95 is our official daytime high. Right now, temperatures are still in the 80s. We're looking at 81 right now at O'Hare. It's 81 in Jeffrey Manor and 81 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flournoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
countless teen trends.
And we are back. The time is 9:24. You're listening to the Cleopatra Show. And again, today's show is dedicated to the mother. That's right, Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, the nation's first lady. Now, today, as my producer just shared with me, my super producer, Sonia, we've been monitoring this. The lines are already stretched down Stony Island. Like 2 weeks ago, I had the privilege to broadcast live from the Obama Presidential Center, and the red carpet was definitely rolled down Stony Island. And yet again, it is today. And this is, it's considered a homegoing celebration too. You know, we went through the practices of Janunza. I want to thank my two scoops, my student ministers that stopped by to educate us, right? So no sad songs. Flowers are for the living, and all respect and due. So this week, this entire week, every show of mine has been dedicated to her because I think she's just a phenomenal woman. I don't think I know it. Throughout my life, she's shown it. And there are different stages of life that we all go through. So today's segment will be dedicated to the women she's raised, not just exclusive to the nation. And that's what makes her phenomenal. She was already extraordinary, but phenomenal that you can touch women outside the faith, outside the walls of the Nation of Islam, because there are no walls. You know, the Quran is reachable and teachable to all if you so seek it. So the fact that she can touch all women and raise so many, what a special tribute. So I'm excited for that. The phone lines are yours. Let's talk. Cliff, welcome to WVON.
Grand Vice, this is the Cleopatra. Listen, I'll try to be brief. And I want to merge the 14th Amendment, the birthright, and also the tribute to the Nation of Islam. Now, when we talk about Black excellence, there's no question, in my opinion, even as a Christian, a group of people that show that and exhibit that are members of the Nation of Islam. You know, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the women, the whole 9 yards. You ain't going to see none of them do anything negative for the most part. Okay, so can we agree to that?
Yes.
So now, as we speak in reference to the original people and birthright, so Italians can go back to Italy, Spanish, Hispanics go back to Puerto Rico, Honduras, go back to the Hondurans, go back to Honduras, the whole 9 yards. The original man and the planet or the land that we belong to, or that this land belongs to, is who? The original Black man, the Asiatic Black man. Am I right so far?
Keep going, yeah.
Okay, so with that being said, so this whole thing in terms of birthright and birthright citizenship, this should be to Black people. I have no homeland. This is our land, if that makes any sense. And we have relatives or descendants that come from the continent of Africa. So now where these other people came from, they're an afterthought. You know, they came from somewhere else. So in terms of being and having the power and given rights, no question coming from, it should be given to us as Black people, the original people. And so the ones that have oppressed us in terms of religion, for those who claim Islam is a radical religion, the ones that enslaved us, correct me if I'm wrong, is Christianity. White Christians and the white Christian nationalists, even to this point, have done more damage and more oppression to Black people than any other religion. Am I right? Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'll just leave it right there. So much respect to the Minister Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam. Islam has done more for Black people than any other religion, in my opinion. Thanks for taking my call.
Excellent call. Thank you so much, Cliff. One caveat, and I was just going to let him roll with it, Lee. Lee corrected Brother Cliff in terms of Spanish to Puerto Rico. Sometimes we associate the language to a locality, but when you think of Spaniards, you think of Spanish, you think of the Spaniards. And when I honored in Spanish, you know, you have nosotros and vosotros, right? So vosotros is more prone to Spaniard speaking, which is a different, not necessarily dialogue, but iteration of Spanish, the actual language. And then when you think of nosotros, you think of Puerto Rico, you think of Mexico, you think of Guatemala, Nicaragua, places like that. So I was thinking as he was talking, but I was going to let him flow with it. Ultimately, when you think about the good book, has it been good? It's one of the most graphic, violent books ever written, and it's been revised. And the hands that have touched it, there's a whole history of that. And as I shared when I lived in Paris, I studied both arts, history, and of course, religion. And then that's when I got a real understanding of Catholicism and Confucian Confucianism and Buddhism, and um, tiptoed a little bit to Muslim faith and how it's spread across the globe and different iterations. But it's something to see it from a lens of a different hemisphere, which was unique, right? So I look forward to unpacking that. Listen, guys, when we come back, I have Minister Ishmael Muhammad coming with us to join us via phone. He is the assistant to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and I'm so humbled to have him to join us in conversation about the First Lady. That's right, the First Lady of the Nation of Islam, Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, who has made her transition to be with Allah, may he be pleased, at the tender age of 90, but she's given so much. And the conversation is the women that she's raised, and not just exclusive to the Islamic faith. I'm talking about around the globe. And that's a phenomenal impact. We'll be back.
Another hot and steamy day in Chicago as temperatures climb right back into the 90s. Good morning. I'm Annette Flournoy, and here's what's happening. Officials from both O'Hare and Midway airports are warning travelers to prepare for a very busy 4th of July travel weekend, with O'Hare expecting to break a record this year. Starting today through Monday, both airports are expecting nearly 2 million travelers to pass through. A court hearing scheduled for today could determine the future of West Suburban Medical Center. The Oak Park Hospital closed back in March. The hope is that a new nonprofit will take over and reopen it. State Representative and congressional candidate LaShawn Ford says that could happen. That is, legal remedy where a court appoints a neutral third party to take over. Representative Ford says the company Insight that took over Mercy Hospital might come to the rescue. Well, in less than 2 weeks, Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Snelling is retiring. In a statement, Snelling says, "I am closing out this chapter of my life with a heart full of gratitude for every Chicagoan and every community partner who embraced me." Many are reflecting on his more than 3 decades of service with the Chicago Police Department. Alderman Ray Lopez of the 15th Ward applaud the superintendent for his work, but says it's bad timing for the city.
When we've already had countless teen trends, street takeovers, multiple mass shootings, and to leave it in the hands of a novice or temporary placeholder concerns me.
There had been speculation leading up to his announcement. Just 6 weeks ago at City Club Chicago, Snelling addressed rumors that he was stepping down.
I'm going to be here as long as I have to be here or until it's time, like any other profession.
He was made superintendent in 2023 by Mayor Brandon Johnson, who thanked Snelling for his service and says for now, Fred Waller will take over yet again as interim superintendent when Snelling leaves July 15th. Well, 3 men charged with attacking a CBS News crew are expected in court this morning. Perry Williams reports.
Rafael Salinas, John Twist, and William Huerta face criminal charges. Twist is also charged with a hate crime after allegedly yelling racial slurs in Monday's incident. The 3 suspects were arrested later after allegedly pointing a gun at people on the sidewalk near 42nd and Western in Chicago's Brighton Park neighborhood. I'm Perry Williams.
The janazah for Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, the wife of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is set for 11 a.m. tomorrow at Mosque Miriam on South Stony Island. She worked alongside Minister Farrakhan to help lead the nation's social and political endeavors. The couple raised 9 children and were married 72 years. She will be buried at Oakwood Cemetery in the Greater Grand Crossing neighborhood. She was 90. That's a look at our news now on 1690 WVON. Traffic and weather up next. WVON News Time, 9:34.
Create your escape this summer at Wind Creek Casino and Hotel. You could win an incredible outdoor living prize package and transform your backyard with beautiful patio furniture, a dream outdoor kitchen, a relaxing spa, and more. A share of $100,000 in prizes is up for grabs. Earn entries now. Drawings every Saturday, July 11th to August 1st, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Win the backyard of your dreams at Wind Creek. Must be 21 years or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
CTA is coming to WVON, Sundays 7 p.m., not the train. Call to action with your host, Randria. When life has you at a stop, he'll pick you up and help you find out where you're going and the best connections to get you there. Take the ride every Sunday at 7 p.m. with your host, Randria. The next stop might be yours.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Tired of overpriced blinds? Blindster makes custom blinds simple and affordable. You measure at home, install yourself, and save big. No retail store markups, just custom blinds guaranteed to fit. Blindster.com.
WVON traffic and weather now.
We're starting with the inbound side of the Bishop Ford, where there's a report of an accident right now blocking the two left lanes right at the Ryan split. Traffic right now pretty solid, backed up to 103rd Street. Your travel time is reading 32 minutes in from I-80-94 to the Ryan. Once that accident is moved off to the side, that travel time will likely go down. If you're on Tuskegee Airmen Memorial, you're moving along at the posted speed. Once arriving at the Ryan, you're looking at another 18 minutes from 95th Street into downtown. Things are looking good along DuSable Lakeshore Drive. No problems or delays to report in either direction. The Stevenson moving along close to the posted speed each way. If you're on the Eisenhower, you're looking at 40 minutes from Thorndale to the Burns Circle, 40 traveling out. And the Kennedy just bumped back up to 30 minutes in from O'Hare to downtown. Getting to the airport, a much better commute. You're looking at 25 minutes there. Taking a look at our weather, we're seeing some bright skies, some sunshine, but pretty hot. An extreme heat warning remains in effect in our area through tonight. The National Weather Service says temperatures are going to top out somewhere around 95. Right now, we're inching through, still hanging on to the low 80s, though. Right now is 81 at O'Hare, 81 in Orland, and 81 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm in Illinois on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Hush not, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Just move on up.
And we are back. The time is 9:37. Listen, guys, I'm going to jump into the chat. Good morning to everyone. Candy, Lee, Diane, MC Robinson, Renee, Sean Jackson, Hamid, Charlie. How are you all? You know, we've been having a conversation as we're building up to receiving the minister. That's right, Minister Ishmael Muhammad. As he joins us, he serves as the assistant to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I'm so excited to have Brother Ishmael join us, because in the dedication to the First Lady of the Nation of Islam, Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, it's just been an honor just to walk these steps, right, in terms of our understanding of Janazah, right, which will take place for her tomorrow at 11 a.m. at the Mosque of Miriam. And then today, for those that would like to view and pay our respect and homage to her, it begins at 10 a.m. and it extends all the way into 8 p.m. And folks are making their pilgrimage. You know, I know that to be a fact. And I'm just so honored to talk about their lives. But what, of course, those of us that are married would like to know, 72 years. You know, that is just something. At one point in time in America, fun fact, Black people were the most married in the country. If you know the era of what I'm talking about, just give me the decade. You can get some extra credit. Give me a call, 773-591-1690. I just think there are so many different attributes and the layers of their union, their bond, that was just nothing but heaven sent, a gift from God, to continue His work. And I think it's just a blessed opportunity for us to uplift the work of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the First Lady. Now, what's across all the headline news? The top cop is out. So as we're waiting, Brother Ishmael, I would like to put the question of the day on the table because it is a thoughtful Thursday. The top cop is out. What are your thoughts? Right? Larry Snelling is retiring. Peace out. He gone. But he has been in service for 3 decades. Oh, it is the student minister. Okay. And wait, I didn't know. I thought I can graduate him. No. Student minister. But listen, so as the top cop is out, folks are reminiscing and showing a lot of love to Larry Snelling, who hails from Inglewood and raised up in the brass, right? Highly respected from the streets of just doing his beat all the way to becoming top cop. That's no easy feat. And to serve at the ready in the handpick of the second Black male mayor and third Black mayor of the city of Chicago. And that's the 57th mayor, Mayor Brandon Johnson. With that being said, I would like to hear from you, but first and foremost, he's here, right? The student minister, Ishmael Muhammad, is on the live line to join us in conversation. Welcome back to the Cleopatra Show.
Oh, thank you so very much to have me on the show this morning, and I apologize for the delay. And Minister Farrakhan asked me to tell you thank you for being patient, but he gives all his love, his greetings, and expresses his deep gratitude to all who have extended condolences and shared their thoughts of sympathy and that keep him and the family in their prayers and thoughts.
Absolutely. In fact, we received that. So thank you for delivering that humble message. And I know today is a very busy day for you. So the fact that you have even edged out time for us, I'm very grateful. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. Today, Mother Khadijah, may Allah God be pleased, will be lying in state here at the Nation of Islam's headquarters, Mosque Mariam, on 73rd and Stony Island, open to the public from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. to view. The viewing will be today, and of course, the services will be tomorrow at 11 a.m.
No, and I appreciate that because folks definitely want to understand how they can come and pay respects. And that's what this week, I've taken the time to dedicate every show in tribute to her life and the impact of such a phenomenal woman. And each day we've learned so much. And I thank you all for being so supportive with us as we want to uplift and pay special homage to her. And I thought about this as I was working with Sonia yesterday. What I've learned so much about her is that she's raised women, and not just
Yes.
exclusively in the Islamic faith or the Muslim belief, but just around the globe. And that's extraordinary within itself. But as she has walked this walk for such a time with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, 72 years in union, while raising 9 children and still leaving an impression with women around the globe is extraordinary. I would like for you to speak to that.
Absolutely. We were blessed with a righteous woman as an example, not only to women, but to men. And sometimes men don't think that women can be an example for us, yet the woman is our first teacher. And Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was asked, who should we honor next to God and his messenger? And his answer was, your mother. And he was asked for a second time, and his response was the same, your mother. And for the third time, he said, your mother. So that response of the prophet lets us know and to see the extreme value of the woman. Mother Khadijah, she taught women. She was an inspiration and an example for women, but she was an example for men as well. And of course, she carries the distinct title of First Lady of the Nation of Islam. And as the First Lady of the Nation of Islam, she was the first to be by her husband, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan's side when he decided to rebuild the Nation of Islam. So her devotion, her strength, her courage, as you said, raising 9 children, 5 girls and 4 boys, but at the same time helping her husband in this great work of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And she was the first secretary of the Nation of Islam under her husband, responsible for the accounting and the finances of the nation. She helped in assisting the editing of the first editions of the Final Call newspaper. She designed the garments of the women in Islam, and the uniform, white uniform that is worn by the sisters was designed by Mother Khadijah. So her contribution to the Nation of Islam, her contribution to Black people and to the rise of our people in the liberation struggle here in America and all over the world. We thank Allah so much for her, and we thank her for the sacrifices that she made. And as a woman, she carried herself with grace, with honor, with dignity, with a tender heart, so loving, so charitable, so generous. So what a wonderful gift God gave us in Mother Khadijah Farrakhan. She will be missed, but never forgotten.
I think every word you said was so beautiful and inspiring in terms of a reflection. So, listen, guys, we are lifting up the First Lady. That's right, the First Lady of the Nation of Islam, Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, and who's on the live line with me with a beautiful tribute to her life and contributions is the student minister. That's right, Ishmael Muhammad, who serves as the assistant to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And when we come back, I think as we begin to unpack life and we embrace death, I just played a clip on the other day, a student minister, Ishmael Muhammad, of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talking about the death angel, right? And I thought it was so impactful and timely because it made me begin to reflect upon my own life. And I think sometimes when we're met with the transition of what lies on the other side, whatever your beliefs are, wherever you think, whoever arms you think you're going into, what have you done on this earth? And you just uplifted impact that has been over decades of not just a singular individual, but one woman that has left her impression for decades to come. And that's what I mean by phenomenal, right? Raising generations of women, like you said, with dignity, integrity, and most of all, respect. When we come back, I will hope folks that are listening to us will reflect over their lives and figure out how they want to wake up tomorrow if God be willing. And a new attitude and a new step, because the work does continue. And even in our moments of grief, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talked to us about grief in the clip that I played, I would like for you to speak a little bit about how to unpack it, particularly as we are preparing for the Jananza for her homegoing celebration tomorrow. I would like for you to unpack that as those that are thinking about death, because it waits for nobody and it is upon all of us, as the minister has expounded for us. We'll be back after this break.
More from Cleopatra coming up next on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
When you play the 7 times bingo multiply instant ticket from the Illinois Lottery, you play with purpose. Over $8.4 million has been raised to help support homelessness programs in Illinois. Purchase one to help raise even more. Be smart, play smart. Must be 18 or older to play. Game odds available at IllinoisLottery.com.
And the match is about to begin. Most of the team is out with COVID-19, so there'll be some substitutes tonight. What's this? We have an unexpected guest on the field. It's a dog, but they could do with extra players. She's going for the ball. Our front paws, hands or feet?
Soccer season is full of surprises, and COVID-19 could be one of them. If you test positive, prescription medications may help. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Learn more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
And the match is about to begin. Most of the team is out with COVID-19, so there'll be some substitutes tonight. What's this? We have an unexpected guest on the field. It's a dog, but they could do with extra players. She's going for the ball. Our front paws, hands or feet?
Soccer season is full of surprises, and COVID-19 could be one of them. If you test positive, prescription medications may help. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Learn more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Are you ready? Not just to do hair, but to build a real beauty business.
If you're a stylist, a barber, or a beauty professional, this show is for you.
I'm Nidra Williams of Solo Beauty Supply.
I'm Dr. Lekashan, trichologist and salon owner.
Breaking down real strategy, real growth, and what it takes to win in this industry.
Tap in, lean in, and level up.
The Hair Salon Tour Show, where beauty professionals become business powerhouses. Join us Saturday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Where beauty professionals become business powerhouses. WVON 1690.
WVON traffic and weather now.
As predicted, things along the Bishop Ford much better now that that accident has been moved off to the side. We're looking at a 18-minute trip in from I-8094 to the Ryan. Tuskegee Airmen Memorial looks good traveling in. On the outbound side, you might want to look out for an accident at Volmer Road, not affecting your travel time. Traffic pretty light. As you make your way along the Ryan, we've just bumped back up to 20 minutes from 95th Street into downtown. Things along DuSable Lakeshore Drive still pretty quiet. No problems or delays to report at this time. If you're on the Stevenson, you will move along at the posted speed in from I-355 to DuSable Lakeshore Drive and back again. The Kennedy looks pretty good. A 30-minute trip in from O'Hare to downtown, getting to the airport, 25 minutes, and no changes on the Eisenhower. Still looking at that 40-minute trip from Thorndale to the Burns Circle, outbound just about 40 minutes as well. Taking a look at our weather, we're seeing some bright skies. The National Weather Service says that extreme heat warning will remain in effect in our area through tonight. Temperatures are expected to top out at around 95. Right now, we're seeing temperatures slide back. We're down to 80 at O'Hare, it's 80 in Lansing, and 80 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Fernoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And we are back. The time is 9:54. And listen, guys, on the live line, I have the student minister, Ishmael Muhammad, who is the son of Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And as I look over I read his bio before, but he's been in service since 1991. 35 years of dedication to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And he comes to us today with such beautiful words and peace and uplifting about the First Lady. And I'm talking about the First Lady of the Nation of Islam, Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, who lies in state at the Mosque of Miriam today. I'm just so honored to have you, and I would like for you to tell us, how is the minister doing?
The minister is doing well under the circumstances, thanking God for blessing him with such a wonderful wife and friend. The love of his heart next to God. So we do not so much mourn, but more joy and gladness in the place of sadness by thanking the God who gives us life and is the ultimate cause of death. And when his wife gave her final breath, the words of David from the 27th, I believe, Psalm spoke to him in his heart. The Lord is my strength. The Lord is the stronghold of my life. So whom shall I be afraid? The one thing about the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is that no matter what the loss is, what the challenge is, or the misfortune, he always directs his mind and his attention to God. So while he is sad, yet, my dear sister, he's grateful and thankful to God for giving him Mother Khadijah and 73 years of marriage, and they were childhood sweethearts, and the sacrifices that she made that we could have the nation of Islam today. So he's grateful. He is thankful. And of course, the loss leaves a space. It leaves a void. And all of us that lose a loved one, a wife, a husband, a mother, a father, a child, we have to make adjustments for that loss and for the space that it creates. And there is no one that can fill that void better than God. And before the break, you asked about life and death and putting life and death into perspective. How can we put life and death in perspective without God, since he is the author of life, the ultimate cause of death? Life and death are companions, and death will visit us all. None of us can escape it. So the question is, what are we doing with the life that God gave us? What are we doing with the short time that each of us have? God gave us Mother Khadijah. She she lived her life well, and she lived her life for a cause bigger than herself. So the Quran says, speak not of those who die in the way of God as dead. Nay, they are alive, but you perceive not.
No, I thank you for that. I think your messages are always so profound, Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad. They bring light to where some of us may feel is dark. And for all those that are listening, may you find peace. I'm reading the chat. Tons of condolences, tons of uplift. 73 years of marriage, is a journey. It's a lifetime, and
Yes.
it is one that I find to be aspirational, encouraging. So I just want to thank you for continuing to help us uplift to who she is and all that she was, so that folks don't get the story twisted. And it is my job to make sure that it is forever cemented as we continue to go onward in uplifting her life and her light.
Well, thank you so much, and the VON family, for taking time on your show to honor Mother Khadijah Farrakhan and to give her the due respect and honor that she deserves. And though many did not know her personally, we now know the woman that has been at the side of the man that most of us know, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, that wind beneath his wings. So we are so humbled and honored that you would take time to honor Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, who was not just a mother of the faithful in the nation of Islam and a faithful servant for those of us that belong to the nation of Islam, but she was our queen for all Black people in America and Black people around the world. So may God be pleased with her. Her soul is at rest. Let us keep the minister and the family in our prayers and in our thoughts, and be inspired by the life that Mother Khadijah lived, that we will also live a righteous, noble life full of integrity, and that we will carry on the struggle until our people are lifted, civilized, and that our communities are made a decent and safe place to live. And they will never be safe and decent until we respect and honor and protect the woman. That is our job as Black men, to honor and respect and protect the women and girls of our community and our nation. A nation can rise no higher than its woman. That's what Elijah Muhammad taught.
No, as a mother of 3 baby boys, I receive that. I thank you. I receive it.
My
I look
beautiful
forward
sister,
to receiving
thank you.
real soon. I'm sure we will. Oh, absolutely.
Yes, I'd love to come in the studio and as they say, and let's chop it up.
Okay. I love it. Listen, guys, it's been a blast to be with the student minister, Ishmael Muhammad. I thank you for your time today. And as you heard him say, this won't be the last. So we look forward to receiving you in studio. Thank you so much.
Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you as well. Listen, guys, we'll be back after this break.
An extreme heat warning remains in effect in our area through tonight. On this Thursday, July 2nd, 2026, I'm in Efranoyan in the headlines. The janazah for Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, the wife of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is set for 11 a.m. tomorrow at Mox Mariam on South Stony Island. She will be buried at Oakwood Cemetery. Well, here in Chicago, we're experiencing yet another day of dangerously high heat with a heat index of up to 105. But the National Weather Service says we could see some stormy weather over the weekend. And in less than 2 weeks, Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Snelling is retiring. National news from the Black Information Network is next on the Voice of a Nation and the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON, Berwyn, Chicago. It's 10:05.
VIN News Now. Friends, family, and music legends gathered at the Central Synagogue in Manhattan, New York to honor Clive Davis. Alicia Keys met Davis when he discovered her at 15 years old.
Clive, you are woven into the fabric of who I am, not just as an artist, as a woman.
The iconic producer was remembered with performances and tributes from stars like Jennifer Hudson and Dionne Warwick before a private burial. Black Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is taking action to speed up cleanup after a massive warehouse fire in Boyle Heights. Crews are removing millions of pounds of rotting food as officials work to prevent flare-ups and hold those responsible accountable. And a $10,000 reward is being offered for information in the deadly shooting of a CTA worker on Chicago's South Side. Police say Black 57-year-old Thomas Barlow was killed during a carjacking as leaders push for stronger protections for transit workers. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Back to Terry McCready.
We will not wait to take the fight to Donald Trump and the oligarchy. We will not wait. We will not wait to abolish ICE and pass Medicare for all.
Colorado's Black Democrat Maylot Quiros delivering a victory speech in her primary race for Colorado's 1st congressional district. She's vowing to oppose any leader who accepts campaign donations from corporate public action committees. She defeated a veteran Democratic challenger and is among a growing number of Democrats pushing for institutional change within the party. Quiros asserted that, quote, we have to root out the corruption and get money out of our politics. The Ethiopian-born 29-year-old who was endorsed by New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani, who, along with other Democratic socialists like Senator Bernie Sanders, are pushing to take corporate PAC money out of politics and back challengers to several incumbent Democrats. The Justice Department is directing its staff to bring fraud charges in alleged cases of birth tourism.
We're the only country in the world that has it. You step into our country and you're all of a sudden a citizen. You come in a certain way. This was not meant for Chinese billionaires to have their children become citizens of our country.
The DOJ order is in response to the Supreme Court's birthright citizenship ruling. The DOJ's Office of the Deputy Attorney General says investigation and prosecution of birth tourism schemes should be prioritized by all criminal division staff. The Migration Policy Institute claims up to 26,000 babies born annually in the U.S. could be attributed to birth tourism. It's illegal, but the DOJ tells prosecutors to explore related statutes such as wire fraud and money laundering when pursuing cases. President Trump says singer Victor Willis will be sorely missed. Willis was a lead singer for The Village People, which is known for its signature hit YMCA. The president often used that banger at his campaign rallies, and he celebrated Willis's legacy. With a post on Truth Social, Trump shared his condolences and wrote, "We will think of Victor every time YMCA is played." Willis's wife announcing his death in a Facebook post and said that he died from a short but aggressive illness. Willis was 74. El Obeid, a city in Sudan with 500,000 people sheltering about 100,000 refugees displaced by violence, is facing its most intense attacks by rapid support forces. After breaking a siege last year, the army has struggled to stop the RSF from reimposing a blockade through drone strikes, impacting the city, its infrastructure, and the main highway. Strikes against a main power station and fuel depots have plunged neighborhoods into darkness and closed water pumps. The United Nations is cautioning about substantial RSF troop movements and of a potential ground assault. The threat is sparking concerns of atrocities similar to those in El Fasher last October, which the UN compared to genocide. I'm Terry McCready for the Black Information Network.
100 years ago, a genius was born in Chicago. His name was Oscar Brown Jr., and this summer, we're celebrating his birthday. Join Maggie Brown and family for the OBJ Free Community event. It's part of Jazz in the Court from noon to 5 on July 10th, featuring live jazz, spoken word, and showcasing Chicago's Africa Porter, youth activities, and so much more. It'll be a day of joy, creativity, and a celebration of one of Chicago's legendary artists. Oscar Brown Jr. Day, Friday, July 10th at Harper Court in Hyde Park. Admission is free. RSVP at hbjazz.com. It's Rufus Williams. The thrill of summer is finally here, which also means it'll be over before we know it. This fall, the Rufus Williams Travel Club is heading to Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Join me as we experience the beauty, the brilliance, and the culture of one of America's most captivating cities. We'll enjoy the charm of the Lowcountry, breathtaking scenery, incredible cuisine, and the rich African-American history of Charleston. There will also be a few special surprises designed just for our group. So whether you're traveling alone, with family, or with friends, you'll be welcomed into an unforgettable experience filled with great people and great memories. Space is limited, and the best rates are right now. Simply go to WVON.com, click on the Rufus Williams Travel Club banner, and reserve your space. Advantage International is the official travel partner of the Rufus Williams Travel Club. Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Travel with people, travel with purpose, travel with us.
See something? Say something. Don't scroll. Call 911. Office of Emergency Management and Communications protects life and property by operating the public safety communications system. Big crowds, big celebrations, OEMC's got your back. Help keep Chicago safe this 4th.
Hi, I'm attorney Ernesto Borges. I'd like to invite you to join me for the Borges Report for lively discussions about legal matters, politics, government, entertainment, and the topics that concern you in your life. Start your Sunday the Borges way with the Borges Report.
The Borges Report with Ernesto Borges, Sunday mornings at 9 on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Tired of overpriced blinds? Blindster makes custom blinds simple and affordable. You measure at home, install yourself, and save big. No retail store markups, just custom blinds guaranteed to fit. Blindster.com.
WVON traffic and weather now.
As you make your way along the Ryan, we're looking at that 20-minute trip still from 95th Street into downtown. Things have quieted down quite a bit along the Bishop Ford. No problems or delays to report there. On the inbound side of Tuskegee Airmen Memorial, things are looking pretty good. Outbound, we are still seeing that earlier accident at Volma Road is now off to the side. If you're on DuSable Lakeshore Drive, you're moving along at the posted speed each way. Things are still light along the Stevenson. No problems or delays in either direction. As you make your way along the Eisenhower, we're looking at still that 40-minute trip from Thorndale to the Burn Circle, 40 traveling out. And the Kennedy, give yourself just about 30 minutes as you travel in from O'Hare to downtown, getting to the airport, now 30 as well. Taking a look at our weather, bright skies and humid. The National Weather Service says that this extreme heat warning will remain in effect until tonight. Temperatures are expected to top out at around 95, but with feel-like temperatures above 100. Temperatures are climbing once again. We're looking at 81 now at O'Hare, is 81 at Rainbow Beach, and 81 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flournoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Live from the Xfinity Studios at WVON, it's the Cleopatra Show on Chicago's essential storyteller, 1690 WVON.
And we are back. The time is 10:13. You're listening to the Cleopatra Show. And of course, it's a thoughtful Thursday. Again, I would like to thank Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad, who serves as the assistant to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, for joining us as we continue to raise the vibrations for the First Lady of the Nation of Islam, Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, who is currently lying in state. It began at 10 a.m. and it will spread into the evening, 8 p.m., right there at the Mosque of Miriam, 73rd and Stony Island. And then tomorrow is her janazah. I'm so grateful for the support from the Nation of Islam as I continue to pay tribute and homage to her all week in special ways. 72 years, 73 years, as we just learned from student minister Ishmael Muhammad, of union, of marriage to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and by all declaration, the wind beneath his wings is something. But to really examine the woman that has been behind the movement of raising women around the globe is extraordinary. 773-591-1690. I am excited, and then there are moments where I get sad, but trouble don't last always. Especially when you get to talk about just the contributions and the goodness. It's too often we don't talk about the goodness because of the shroud of badness and darkness that wraps around. Like right now, as I was talking about earlier, the jobs report, 57,000 jobs added. That's a 4.4% decline. As an indicator, the economy is in this shift. On one hand, you hear your president braggadociously brag about the economy and how the market is thriving and how one's 401k should be surging. But many of you all have drew down your 401k just to survive Trump's regime. And or you are living on it because you've lost your federal employment or some job because you are a DEI hire or was looked at as a DEI hire. Who's winning are the wealthy in Trump's second becoming. And this job report is dismal. It's really bad. And it is reflective in a multitude of ways, especially when I can report in real time your president has garnered wealth. Right now, Trump's Mar-a-Lago revenue surged to a record $77.5 million in 2025. A record breaking. The grift that keeps on grifting. I don't know what it would take to make a Negro turn black when I talk about what's happening in real time. In real time. So on this Thoughtful Thursday, on one end, I am positively and just humbly uplifting the life and the contributions of Mother Khadijah Farrakhan. And then on the other hand, the icky reality of where we're at. Now, I've asked you all, the question of the day is, the top cop is out. He's retiring. He said, deuces, he gone. He served 30 years faithfully. And the brass respectfully acknowledges him and shows him love. And I'm talking about top cop Larry Snelling. Him go bye-bye. And the mayor has thanked him and everybody else. And in 2 weeks, poof, be gone. He's gone. How do you feel about that? For me, I did have trepidations, seeing as how that was at the start of the summer in Chicago, where it get real litty, particularly in said communities throughout the city, and especially with the uptick of cultural tourism that is the main attraction of how the city builds its revenue. Our top cop is gone. But just because he's gone, does that mean that the system falls out of whack? Do you all care that he's gone? Are you concerned about who's coming in and what's the plan? What will shift? Under the leadership of Snelling, I can't really say that Black cops have grown. I can't say that. So that was never the angle. In fact, there's been a cry for more cops to hit the streets, and the vacancies couldn't be filled because of the revenue. But what did happen with the initial persistence of Mayor Johnson is filling the positions of detectives to close said cases. So that was critical, right? And Larry Snelling left high on the hog. Crime is down. Things are intact. I'm not sure where we're at or how we feel about it, or whether or not this will grow legs. And, are we concerned about who comes in? If I say McCarthy, these phone lines will light up. And I promise you, I have no insight. I'm not saying McCarthy's coming back. I'm not saying that at all. But it is interesting, who the mayor will tap to continue onward, because the show will go on. I promise you that. Listen, I'm going to take a quick break. Preston Shanks, I see you in the chat. Preston says, Cleopatra, you are speaking to me. I'm going on 1.5 years living off my savings. As a former federal employee, Trump definitely sucked. Oh, yeah, Preston, I'm sorry to hear that. I know there's more, right? For those that thought that they could retire and now are facing the barrel of how they're going to survive off of their retirement and not even near retirement is the position that Shanks is speaking of. And it's cruel. So, I'm actually awaiting. There's an interesting interview coming out of Jack Smith. I'm an MS Now girl. And, when this reign of terror is over, where will they hide? And I'm not talking about their bodies. I'm talking about the money. Them Trump boys, they are grifting billions. And even in the Wall Street Journal, they're reporting it. Rupert Murdoch is even telling the tale on his own paper of how the contracts, the double dipping, the this, that. And meanwhile, back on the ranch, a number of Black women, more than 600,000, were fired, purged from federal employment. And there followed Black men. And Preston Shanks admittedly is saying he's one of them. So more than 1 million plus Black people purged from federal employment. And we know the role and the responsibility Black women play, many of whom are head of households. And now they're subjected to live on their reserves and how they to keep up with their house note and so on and so forth. I'm telling you guys, the grift is real. But when the paradigm shift of power comes, as it always does, when one party over the other is now out of power, where will they hide the money? We'll be back after this break.
More from Cleopatra coming up next on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Tuned in to your favorite WVON personalities on Facebook Live? Don't just watch, like it, love it, share it. Every click helps us grow the conversation and keep the community strong. So remember, like it, love it, share it, Chicago.
What's up, Chicago? The movement is growing and the time is now. Join Chicago Reparations as they work to advance justice through advocacy, education, and community engagement. This summer, be a part of a powerful lineup of events, including Reparations Town Hall, Emerald and Pearl Awards, cocktails and conversations, lunch and learns, a taste of gospel, and the world-famous Rib Fest. Whether you are looking to learn, connect, advocate, or celebrate, there's a place for you. Get involved today at Chicago Reparations and follow Chicago Reparations on social media for updates. Get your tickets now at eventbrite.com/Chicago Reparations. This isn't just a conversation, it's a movement. Get on board Chicago Reparations now.
It's the afternoon show.
Those people that are saying, I am not my ancestors, are speaking from a place of privilege only given to them by their ancestors. So how can you come here now, right, when they've shed all the blood, when they've been bitten by all the dogs, when they've been hosed down by all the hoses, when they've been slapped in the face by all the cops, and here you come after laws have been passed to say what you wouldn't allow. I am not my ancestors. I think that is insanely disrespectful.
Weekdays at 3 on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And the match is about to begin. Most of the team is out with COVID-19, so there'll be some substitutes tonight. What's this? We have an unexpected guest on the field. It's a dog. Well, they could do with extra players. She's going for the ball. Our front paws, hands or feet?
Soccer season is full of surprises, and COVID-19 could be one of them. If you test positive, prescription medications may help. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Learn more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
And the match is about to begin. Most of the team is out with COVID-19, so there'll be some substitutes tonight. What's this? We have an unexpected guest on the field. It's a dog. Well, they could do with extra players. She's going for the ball. Our front paws, hands or feet.
Soccer season is full of surprises, and COVID-19 could be one of them. If you test positive, prescription medications may help. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Learn more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Protect your money and build your wealth. Sundays at 3 p.m., host and owners of Top & Top Insurance Agency, Clydell and Betty Top, teach you about protecting your assets, 401ks, annuities, life after retirement, the differences and benefits of life insurance. And they take questions. Their advice can enhance your financial future and your legacy. Call for a free WVON financial consultation, 773-881-8110. Tune in Sundays at 3 p.m. to protect your money and build your wealth. Powered by Top & Top Insurance Agency.
WVON traffic and weather now.
The inbound Ryan just dropped down to 19 minutes from 95th Street into downtown. Things remain pretty quiet along the Bishop Ford and Tuskegee Airmen Memorial. Light traffic right now along DuSable Lakeshore Drive each way. If you're on the Stevenson, you will move along at the posted speed in from I-355 to DuSable Drive and back again. The Eisenhower, still that 40-minute trip from Thorndale to the Burns Circle, outbound 40 as well. And the Kennedy, though, things have gotten heavier there. 31 minutes in from O'Hare to downtown. We're also looking at a 31-minute trip to the airport. Taking a look at our weather, bright skies and hot and humid. The National Weather Service says that extreme heat warning will remain in effect in our area through tonight as temperatures climb near 95 with feel-like temperatures of above 100. Right now, temperatures are climbing once again. We're up to 82 at Midway, 82 at the Obama Presidential Center, and 82 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Lanoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
What's the sense in sharing this one and only life? Ending up just another lost and lonely wife. You count up the years and they will be filled with tears.
Come on, sing to me, y'all. The time is 10:27. It is summertime shine. A thoughtful Thursday on the Cleopatra Show. And yet this show is still dedicated to the life. That's right. The life of the First Lady of the Nation of Islam. That's Mother Khadijah Farrakhan. And again, I'm just so grateful that the student minister himself, Ishmael Muhammad, stopped by with a message from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for us. And I just receive it. I receive it in love, and I hope you all do too. The phone lines are yours, 773-591-1690. Now, the question of the day is, the top cop is out. He said, deuces, he's gone. 3 decades, 30 years, and the brass respects Larry Snelling. That's undeniable. Brother straight out of Inglewood. Love it. Hand selected by Mayor Brandon Johnson. And yet the show goes on. Do you have a kind of feeling, a sentiment about it? What comes next? Any trepidations? For me, I think the timing is kind of painful, knowing how summertime shy can be throughout the city of Chicago and just how unpredictable it can be. And then on top of that, on the heels of this, on the eve of this, outside of the midterm, it's going down when it comes to this mayoral race. Absolutely. And for the top cop to leave right at the incline of that makes me concerned. But I can be concerned with some hope and just have a little fear in terms of where do we go from here. But I'm reassured that my mayor will deliver the next best thing. What is your thoughts? Let's talk to Andre. Andre, welcome to WVON.
Good morning, Ms. Cleopatra, the favorite millennial.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me. I just want to weigh on Larry Snelling. I think he did the right thing. I know a lot of people wanting them to stay. Sometimes we can be selfish in our desires. I think he did the right thing because it looked like it's going to be a beautiful mayoral campaign. And the focal point is probably going to be on crime. So I think he did the right thing by removing himself from the spotlight before the fight begins so that he don't have to be interrogated and questioned and none of that stuff. He can be out the way and then the campaign can get on. That's what
But
I
here's
think.
the deal. He left high on the hog. Crime is down. So, I mean, getting out the way may be help. It may be a leg up for the next person, but what brutal beating? Because he really left high.
Yeah, what I'm saying is it doesn't matter if crime down, they're going to use it for a campaign thing.
Oh, yeah, always, yeah.
Like Susana Mendoza did. I told you that before that I seen that interview on TV, and she said, first of all, the police got to be free to do their job. Well, that sounded like a right-wing talking point. So they're going to come at him, regardless of crime is down or whatever it is. They're going to come at the mayor on crime. But Larry Snelling would be one of the focal points, so he did right by stepping aside and just let them battle it out. That's what I think.
You're going to have me come back with the song Step Aside. I'm going to take us to church. There it is.
Well, you've been on point this far. Why change it?
I'm trying to tell you. Thank you for listening. When we come back, guys, I got a special guest. I got so much love for our Attorney General, not just because I'm his General Assembly scholar. You all learn so much about me, but because, his road to just his commitment to service is unrefutable. Unrefutable. And if you really know our Attorney General Kwame Raoul's fight, he don't give up nothing. He gonna keep beating the bag because it's a soft spot somewhere. And I'm so grateful that, when you look at folks that are unsuccessful at what they thought they were supposed to do, and then where they're at, it was meant for just a moment such as this. And this is what I think about when I think about our Attorney General Kwame Raoul. And when we come back, we're going to get his insight on TPS. That's right, temporary protective status that was rebuked and struck down and not supported and uplifted with SCOTUS. And then when you look at birthright citizenship, how it was protected and uplifted, a double-edged sword. And who's the best person to weigh in on it? Kwame Raoul, our Attorney General in the state of Illinois. We'll be back.
Midday in Chicago as temperatures climb back into the mid-90s. Good morning. I'm Annette Flournoy, and here's what's happening. We're experiencing another hot and very humid day in the city. The National Weather Service says the excessive heat warning will remain in effect until tonight. Well, today's actual temperatures are expected to climb into the mid-90s, but weather watchers say expect a feel-like temperature in the triple digits. All 6 of the city's cooling centers opened at 9 o'clock this morning. The south and west side locations include Inglewood Center at 1140 West 79th Street, Garfield Center at 10 South Kedzie, the King location at 43rd and Cottage, and the South Chicago Center on 86th and Commercial. Also, Chicago Public Libraries and police stations will serve as cooling centers as well. Folks are advised to continue to check on relatives, neighbors, and seniors, and of course, pets. Also, it looks like the extreme weather could subside soon. The National Weather Service is tracking a chance of stormy weather that could affect our area over the holiday weekend. Well, officials from both O'Hare and Midway airports are warning travelers to prepare for a very busy 4th of July travel weekend, with O'Hare expecting to break a record this year. Starting today through Monday, both airports are expecting nearly 2 million travelers to pass through. Well, after more than 3 decades with the Chicago Police Department, Police Superintendent Larry Snelling announced his retirement. In a statement, Snelling says, "I am closing out this chapter of my life with a heart full of gratitude for every Chicagoan and every community partner who embraced me." Now, many are reflecting on his more than 34 years of service with the Chicago Police Department. Perry Williams has more.
15th Ward Alderman Ray Lopez applauds the superintendent for his work as not good for the city.
When we've already had countless teen trends, street takeovers, multiple mass shootings, and to leave it in the hands of a novice or temporary placeholder concerns me.
Snelling plans to retire after serving 38 years on the police force. Fred Waller will serve as interim superintendent until a replacement is selected by the Community Commission for Public Safety and Accountability. I'm Perry Williams.
He was made superintendent in 2023 by Mayor Brandon Johnson, who thanked Snelling for his service. Snelling leaves July 15th. Well, the janazah for Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, the wife of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is set for 11 a.m. tomorrow at Mosque Miriam on South Stony Island. She was known as the First Lady of the Nation of Islam. She worked alongside Minister Farrakhan to help lead the nation's social and political endeavors. The couple raised 9 children and were married for 72 years. She will be buried at Oakwood Cemetery in the Greater Grand Crossing neighborhood. She was 90. And actor Danny Glover is opening up about his Alzheimer's diagnosis. In an interview yesterday with NBC's Today Show, Glover says he's embracing the reality of the challenges that are to come.
I'm sure as it advances, things are going to be different and changing.
The 79-year-old 4-time Emmy winner said that he has been living with the disease for years. He says he has strong family support and is working closely with the Alzheimer's Association. Well, that's a look at our news now on 1690 WVON. Traffic and weather up next. WVO News Time, 10:35.
Hey, book your cabin now for the 2025 Tom Joyner Foundation Fantastic Voyage, hosted by me, Ricky Smiley. We're going to party with a purpose to raise funds for HBCU. Sailing from New Orleans, October the 19th through the 26th, with live performances from Neo, Mary, Tyrese, October London, Eric Benet, a Southern Soul Show with Mr. Boots on the Ground, 803 Fresh. Hey, cabin start as low as $1,750 with payment plans through September. Call 214-495-1963 or log on to FB2025.com for the details. Use my keyword, Ricky.
It's Rufus Williams. Every weekday morning from 7 to 9, I break down what's really going on, politics, power, and the people shaping our communities. Think of it like your morning newspaper, headlines, context, and what it actually means, so you can take it in, sit with it, and move smarter through your day. If you're part of the Roo Crew, you already know. And if you're watching on Facebook Live, the comments are a whole other show. A family reunion happening in real time. Listen live or on the WVON app, or join us on Facebook Live. It's the Rufus Williams Show, weekdays 7 to 9, right here on 1690 WVON.
Hey everybody, this is Kendall Moore, the Kendall Moore Show, getting you from your work week to your weekend each and every Friday night from 6 until 9 p.m. I get you from your work week to your weekend. Church. Tabernacle.
Kendall Moore, radio for the next generation on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON.
This report is brought to you by ComEd, powering lives. Here's a great savings idea. Did you know you've got the power to manage your energy? Yep, from usage alerts to energy saving programs and more. ComEd has all kinds of ideas to help you gain control over your energy saving costs. Find out more at ComEd.com/energy savings.
WVON traffic and weather now.
The expressways are nice and light, especially on the south end of the city. As you make your way along the Ryan, you're looking at just 17 minutes from 95th Street into downtown. Outbound, things are free flowing. Things are quiet along the Bishop Ford and Tuskegee Airmen Memorial. And as you make your way along DuSable Lakeshore Drive, you will move along at the posted speed. Taking another look at our weather, extreme heat in our area once again. We're looking at a daytime high of 95 with feel-like temperatures of above 100 at times. Right now, temperatures are hovering in the low 80s still. It's 82 at Midway, 82 at the Obama Presidential Center, and 82 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flournoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Stop
And we are on the move. That's right. The time is 10:39 here in Illinois. You know what makes me feel good at night, and I can sleep a little bit, get a little wink eye, because my Attorney General, he does not play. When you think about Kwame Raoul, he has had some wins. I can't say the same about the Bulls and some of the Bears, but I think about Team Kwame, and I'm all the way down for the cause. And I'm just glad, when you think about the pathways of what folks thought was for them, and then when you see them in the role that they probably didn't imagine, oh, it took you to get to that point. And I think that way a lot when I think about Kwame Raoul. And particularly, I'm so honored to have him back on the Cleopatra Show, because there were some rulings that came out that were blockbusting. And this is why he fights not only for Illinois, but he's teamed up with attorney generals across the country. And I think it's just brilliant. So architecturally, I respect his mind, I respect his heart, and I respect his resilience for the fight. Let's welcome our attorney general. That's right, Kwame Raoul.
Good morning. Good morning, and thanks for having me, Cleopatra. Good morning to the VON audience.
Absolutely. Anytime, you can come over here anytime on the TCS. So let's get right to it. I've been thinking about you all week, honestly, as these rulings came out, and my super producer and I, Sonia, were talking, and I started to expound upon the nerd in me of your becoming, right, and your pathway, and how it was a winding road. And I just want to get your thoughts on that real quickly, because did you ever see yourself being the Attorney General of Illinois?
As I started out my efforts to try to be elected to public office, I definitely did not see that as a possibility. I didn't think that somebody with my name, first of all, would be viable statewide. As you know, I'm a three-time loser. I sought out public office 3 times unsuccessfully before I was first appointed to the state senate, and that was really helpful for me, because when I finally got my opportunity, I just put my head down and just started working hard. And I think that's what opened up the opportunity for me in 2018, after serving 14 years in the state senate. The hard work and the humbling experience of having lost 3 times made me who I was, and so opened the door of what I didn't think was possible.
And I bring that up because, I have a lot of admiration. I'm your General Assembly scholar. I will always wear that badge of honor, and I think that is so prideful. But I just want to have a caveat to one word. You said 3-time loser, and I think I like to look at it as the lessons that made you who you are, to whose you are, because you learned a lot that is unwritten. You're writing this book in your life chapter as we speak, but, those losses, there were some real key lessons that have presented you to be this fierce champion for working families, for people's rights, for all of these different groups that you've galvanized, right? Look at me telling your story, because that's what I do when I talk about Kwame, but I can, and I say it so proudly, because clearly you didn't lose. Look at all of what you gained.
Well, what I do tell people, because I try to advise, try to pass the baton, right? Try to advise younger folks who are seeking public office. I have a protege, Shantae Franklin, who's just won a contested primary to replace LaShawn Ford on the West Side. I told her at the outset when I advised her, I said, you're probably going to lose, but you should figure out how you win by losing. What lessons you learn, what contacts you make in the community as you're circulating petitions, as you're campaigning, and so forth. Make your effort a victory, no matter what the outcome will be. One thing that campaigning does is that it forces you to have contact directly with community. And there's a win in that all the ways, no matter what the results of the election is.
Well, I know you're speaking to the masses, and there's somebody taking notes of what real community work looks like. And, as I categorize you or characterize you as this champion for the people, you do represent the people of Illinois. And that is a premier factor of your role. And in that role, I would love your take, your opinion, because I'm sure you're going to have a written opinion of SCOTUS. That's right, the Supreme Court Justice's ruling when it came to TPS, and I'm talking about the temporary protective status that impacted not only just Haitians, but immigrants of color. Specifically, there was a target.
Yeah, and specifically that case covered Haitians and Syrians, but obviously it was a decision that was quite personal to me, being that I was born to Haitian immigrants. But putting that aside for a moment, the decision was disturbing for a couple of reasons. One, the first part of the decision that says that the determination of the Secretary of Homeland Security is beyond judicial review, ignores the fact that the act creating TPS requires the Secretary to procedurally consult with the Department of State. Now, the Department of State right now, as we speak, has Haiti as a level 4 dangerous country to visit, that commercial airlines are not allowed to fly to Port-au-Prince, Haiti's capital, that medical services are limited, that there's gang violence, kidnapping. Those are circumstances that would be considered if the Secretary of Homeland Security had consulted with the Department of State. They would undeniably have to communicate that it is unsafe to return upwards of 330,000 Haitians to Haiti right now because of the conditions in Haiti. The second part of the opinion, which is disturbing for broader reasons, is the way that Justice Alito glossed over racist statements that came from the mouth of President Trump, where he says, why are we taking people from an S-hole country like Haiti? We should be taking people from Norway or Sweden. The Justice Alito said there was nothing overtly racist about that statement and other statements of Haitians eating cats and dogs and things like that. And Justice Kagan was very clear about, if there is such thing as an overtly racist statement, that was certainly one, and it's emblematic of what's happening more broadly in the country with regards to removing people of great credibility and experience in the military who are black leaders, and removing them from other federal agencies and trying to erase a history of discrimination from our history books.
All profound and quite accurate. In fact, when there was a false story of Justice Alito, the NPR falsely published that he may be retiring, about leap for joy, but then the stark of that, the reality set in, and I got scared as to what can be darker than Alito.
Yeah.
So then I thought about it, and I said to my producer, I said, oh no, that's bad. And she said, why? I said, because I'm sure it will be darker, younger, and more frightening. What can be worse than the worst? And I think that is what this administration under the regime of your president, Donald Trump, is insistently rooting for the demise and deterioration and eventually the evisceration of what's left of our democracy. And you are on par.
In as much as I thought through time that we had some challenged leaders in the past, it's been proven to me that things can be worse. And so you have to be careful what you wish for.
I agree. Listen, guys, you hear our Attorney General. That's why Kwame Raoul is speaking to us live on the Cleopatra Show. And we're going to come back and unpack birthright citizenship. It's a big deal. It's been a big debate. And although it wasn't an overwhelming supporter of approval amongst the Supreme Court justices, it still was defended. I can't wait to get our take from our Attorney General about birthright citizenship. You don't want to miss this.
It's Gospel with Pam Morris Walton, your gospel sister, on WVON Sundays, 11 to 2 p.m. Music to help you on your journey. I'll see you there, WVON.
America's biggest birthday bash happens at Wind Creek. Join us for Light It Up 250, an electrifying night of unforgettable moments. Be here starting at 4 p.m. Saturday, July 4th for a dazzling laser light show, live music, and free lighted gifts. Plus, 250 lucky guests win a share of $60,000. Don't miss this 4th of July celebration at Wind Creek Casino and Hotel. Prizes are issued as either slot, free play, or free bet. Must be 21 years or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
And the match is about to begin. Most of the team is out with COVID-19, so there'll be some substitutes tonight. What's this? We have an unexpected guest on the field.
It's a dog, but they could do with extra players.
She's going for the ball.
Are front paws hands or feet?
Soccer season is full of surprises, and COVID-19 could be one of them. If you test positive, prescription medications may help. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Learn more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
And the match is about to begin.
Most of the team is out with COVID-19, so there'll be some substitutes tonight.
What's this? We have an unexpected guest on the field.
It's a dog, but they could do with extra players.
She's going for the ball.
Are front paws hands or feet?
Soccer season is full of surprises, and COVID-19 could be one of them. If you test positive, prescription medications may help. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Learn more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
There is nothing as important as your health and the health of your family. UChicago Medicine knows that. So every Saturday through their Community Health Focus Hour broadcast from 1 until 2 p.m. on WVON, they cover all health topics relative to you living a better life. Their doctors, experts, hosts, and community leaders share facts and advice on how you can live healthier. Tune in Saturdays at 1 p.m., sponsored by UChicago Medicine at the forefront.
WVON traffic and weather now.
We're seeing some changes along DuSable Lakeshore Drive northbound right now. Stop and go from just before Soldier Field all the way to Monroe. There's no report of an accident, but we are seeing a heavy volume of traffic that's more than likely due to that stoplight delay there at Roosevelt Road. Taking a look at our weather, we're seeing some bright skies, hot and humid once again. The National Weather Service says we're climbing to a daytime high of 95, a low tonight of 79. Right now, we're looking at 82 at Midway, is 82 in Harvey, and 82 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flanoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And we are back. The time is 10:53. So when I think about our Attorney General, he does have some wins, right? And we're going to talk about one of the wins in particular. But it's a big one, and it's a big fight, particularly as we're looking at affordability. Up and down the ballot, that has been the fight. And affordability to the tune of the housed versus the unhoused and those that are on their way to the poorhouse, right? And there has been money on the line. Before we tiptoe into that, because he has a big announcement about a big win for Illinois, I have to get our Attorney General's thoughts on birthright citizenship being upheld by the Supreme Court justices. Attorney General Kwame Raoul, what do you say?
Yeah, birthright citizenship is such an important decision for many reasons. One, the substantive impact of it on the question of birthright citizenship, but more broadly, the executive order on birthright citizenship was President Trump's first, right? And it demonstrated how far he will go in just violating the Constitution, because the language in the 14th Amendment is clear. But there are other elements about birthright citizenship that we really, particularly in the Black community, need to be attentive to. There was a clear attempt to use this both by the administration and within the decision itself as a wedge issue. There's been a continuous trying to separate the Black community from the immigrant community at large, and birthright citizenship was used as that, because the argument was being made that the 14th Amendment, and particularly the birthright citizenship clause, was meant solely for freed slaves. And the Justice Thomas, in dissenting, and tried to make that point. Justice Jackson really eloquently went through the history of birthright citizenship. Everybody believes that, not everybody, many people believe that birthright citizenship started with the 14th Amendment, but it was the practice of our country before its inception, except that the founders weren't giving such rights to slaves. It was a practice that goes back to British common law. And that's an important fact to understand, because the departure point has been the 14th Amendment. But the other point that she makes in the decision is that Black activists like Frederick Douglass and others who were advocating for the rights of the freed slaves at the time understand that as they were advocating for these rights, it was important for them to advocate for universal application of these rights, not just for the freed slaves, but for all people. And she goes back into that history, and it's so much of an important analysis that I don't often advise people to read through long Supreme Court decisions, because they could be kind of wonky for the regular lay person. But I really encourage all people to read Justice Jackson's concurring opinion, because it speaks to a broader issue than just birthright citizenship. Obviously, for me, again, it was personal, because I was born to a mother who was not just yet naturalized at the time of my birth. So under the executive order's definition, I would be one of the targets if my birth had been later on in time.
And to make it plain, so is Barron Trump and many of Trump's children. So, if you pull that trigger, there are ramifications for all, because the only natives of this land are the indigenous.
Yeah, and what the other very disturbing thing to me was that this was not a unanimous decision.
Correct.
Because the language is plain.
Correct.
If you're born in this country and subject to its laws, you are a citizen. Nobody argues that immigrants who come into this country and commit a crime can't be prosecuted, right? You're subject to the laws. Nobody argues you can't be sued. You're subject to the laws. So the language is plain. The legislative history is clear. What was going on with advocacy is clear. The other thing is they get picky about which parts of the 14th Amendment they want to say just applies to Blacks. Because the 14th Amendment is what's been used to attack DEI, negatively impacting the Black community.
Listen to this, Attorney General. I know your time is very valuable, but I definitely want to give you an opportunity to uplift this win, because it folds into what is transforming the country with argumentatively this socialist movement that is speaking to the ills of working families. Do you have a few minutes to hang out to expound upon this big victory of yours?
Yeah.
Excellent. I thank you so much. Listen, guys, we are discussing a lot and unpacking a lot with our Attorney General Kwame Raoul, who's just granted us some more time because all he do is win. He gonna be humble, but I can toot his horn. I can do that on his behalf, and we ought to, because this is huge what he's going to share with us on the other side of this break in the fight for housing. Right now, your president said that's a yawn to sign the strong bipartisan bill to transform the nation's approach to housing and the gridlock on its availability. He said that's not important. But he also said he doesn't care not even a little bit about our pain at the pump. So for us ordinary people, I need you to know you have a champion for the working people that hears our cries and that is here to not only go after our dollars, but make it make sense. And I'm talking about Attorney General Kwame Raoul. When we return, I'm going to spill a little tea because he's had a major victory on behalf of the people of Illinois. You don't want to miss this.
An extreme heat warning remains in effect in our area through tonight on this Thursday, July 2nd, 2026. I'm Annette Flournoy, and in the headlines, after more than 3 decades with the Chicago Police Department, Superintendent Larry Snelling announced his retirement. Well, here in Chicago, we're experiencing yet another day of dangerously high temperatures with a heat index of up to 105. But the National Weather Service says we could see some stormy weather over the holiday weekend. And the janazah for Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, the wife of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is set for 11 a.m. tomorrow at Mox Miriam on South Stony Island. She will be buried at Oakwood Cemetery. National news from the Black Information Network is next on the Voice of a Nation and the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON, Berwyn, Chicago. It's 11 o'clock.
VIN News Now. Friends, family, and music legends gathered at the Central Synagogue in Manhattan, New York to honor Clive Davis. Alicia Keys met Davis when he discovered her at 15 years old.
Clive, you are woven into the fabric of who I am, not just as an artist, as a woman.
The iconic producer was remembered with performances and tributes from stars like Jennifer Hudson and Dionne Warwick before a private burial. Black Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass is taking action to speed up cleanup after a massive warehouse fire in Boyle Heights. Crews are removing millions of pounds of rotting food as officials work to prevent flare-ups and hold those responsible accountable. And a $10,000 reward is being offered for information in the deadly shooting of a CTA worker on Chicago's South Side. Police say Black 57-year-old Thomas Barlow was killed during a carjacking as leaders push for stronger protections for transit workers. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Back to Terry McCready.
We will not wait to take the fight to Donald Trump and the oligarchy. We will not wait. We will not wait to abolish ICE and pass Medicare for all.
Colorado's Black Democrat Maylette Quiros delivering a victory speech in her primary race for Colorado's 1st congressional district. She's vowing to oppose any leader who accepts campaign donations from corporate public action committees. She defeated a veteran Democratic challenger and is among a growing number of Democrats pushing for institutional change within the party. Quiros asserted that, quote, we have to root out the corruption and get money out of our politics. The Ethiopian-born 29-year-old who was endorsed by New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani, who, along with other Democratic socialists like Senator Bernie Sanders, are pushing to take corporate PAC money out of politics and back challengers to several incumbent Democrats. The Justice Department is directing its staff to bring fraud charges in alleged cases of birth tourism.
We're the only country in the world that has it. You step into our country and you're all of a sudden a citizen. You come in a certain way. This was not meant for Chinese billionaires to have their children become citizens of our country.
The DOJ order is in response to the Supreme Court's birthright citizenship ruling. The DOJ's Office of the Deputy Attorney General says investigation and prosecution of birth tourism schemes should be prioritized by all criminal division staff. The Migration Policy Institute claims up to 26,000 babies born annually in the U.S. could be attributed to birth tourism. It's illegal, but the DOJ tells prosecutors to explore related statutes such as wire fraud and money laundering when pursuing cases. President Trump says singer Victor Willis will be sorely missed. Willis was a lead singer for the Village People, which is known for its signature hit YMCA. The president often used that banger at his campaign rallies, and he celebrated Willis's legacy. With a post on Truth Social, Trump shared his condolences and wrote, "We will think of Victor every time YMCA is played." Willis's wife announcing his death in a Facebook post and said that he died from a short but aggressive illness. Willis was 74. El Obeid, a city in Sudan with 500,000 people sheltering about 100,000 refugees displaced by violence, is facing its most intense attacks by rapid support forces. After breaking a siege last year, the army has struggled to stop the RSF from reimposing a blockade through drone strikes, impacting the city, its infrastructure, and the main highway. Strikes against a main power station and fuel depots have plunged neighborhoods into darkness and closed water pumps. The United Nations is cautioning about substantial RSF troop movements and of a potential ground assault. The threat is sparking concerns of atrocities similar to those in El Fasher last October, which the UN compared to genocide. I'm Terry McCready for the Black Information Network.
This is Rufus Williams. Stop scrolling for a minute. If you missed my exclusive interview with Governor J.B. Pritzker, you need to really watch it, because this wasn't just another politician making talking points. This was a conversation about the issues that are hitting our community every single day. I pressed him on the violence that's tearing through Chicago. Where are the illegal guns really coming from? Why hasn't it stopped? And what is the state prepared to do about it? We tackled education, the state budget, the cost of living, voting rights, and I looked Governor Pritzker in the eye and asked him to make his case directly to Black Illinoisans as he seeks another 4 years. Don't let social media tell you what he said. Don't let political operatives tell you how to think. Hear the answers for yourself, then decide. That's the WVON difference. We ask the hard questions, we don't duck the tough conversations, and we trust you to make up your own mind. Watch the full interview now on Vine TV or on our YouTube channel. Then tell me where you stand.
It's time to focus with Robert McKay. Quality conversation, protecting, preserving, and preparing our past, present, and future. Sunday evenings at 4 p.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. Maria Pappas with Black Houses Matter.
We're up to way over 400 million here. Yeah, giving money back. How about that? People in Bellwood got 10 million, Broadview 6 million, Burnham 3 million, South Holland 17 million. The city of Chicago's up to $190 million that we have given back to African Americans. Who does that? Nobody does that but WVON.
Cook County Treasurer Maria Pappas with Black Houses Matter, Monday mornings at 11:30 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Tired of overpriced blinds? Blindster makes custom blinds simple and affordable. You measure at home, install yourself, and save big. No retail store markups, just custom blinds guaranteed to fit. Blindster.com.
Live from the Xfinity Studios at WVON, it's the Cleopatra Show on Chicago's essential storyteller, 1690 WVON.
Girl, you got me up. Excited. You make me wanna shout.
And we are back. The time is 11:07, guys. And I have a special guest with me. He's hanging out, giving us some time. But he's just not no ordinary. He's extraordinary in his resume of wins for the people of Illinois in a multitude of ways. And he has the privilege to serve as our Attorney General. And I'm talking about Kwame Raoul, who's still on the live line with me. Welcome back to the show, Kwame.
Thank you.
Now, here's the tea that I was going to spill, guys. Headline news. Attorney General Kwame Raoul wins case protecting billions of dollars for states to fight homelessness. Now, here it is. This is a huge issue, not exclusive to New York, California, but us being the third largest city in America. And affordability, by definition, according to your president, is a hoax. But up and down the ballot, as I'm putting this in a political contextualization, has been the undeniable factor of the X factor of incumbents losing their seats, for them not fighting hard enough to make it so that everyday working families can maintain and survive. And we will be on the trajectory to thrive if we practice these beliefs. Attorney General Raoul is doing something about it. And I would love for you to expound upon this victory.
Yeah. First off, as you say, affordability is not a hoax. It's a real challenge for the majority of Americans, and certainly populations that have been vulnerable even in better times. And there's so many ways that our office impacts the question of affordability in terms of challenging junk fees and price gouging and other consumer deceptive practices. And we've done so on the housing front historically as well, as we took on during the mortgage crisis, and we sued and we've used funds to support affordable housing. In this instance, the president and administration tried to cap funds aimed for providing resources to attack homelessness and to stabilize people in housing. Before you can deal with other problems that people are having, one of the most critical things is providing housing stability. And the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act sought to do so. And the administration tried to put a cap on funds and try to abandon the housing first model, which prioritizes providing shelter before addressing other factors that cause individuals to experience homelessness. And so we challenged this act by the administration under the theory of violating the Administrative Procedures Act, and we were successful in getting that turned around. And this impacts, 170,000 people across the country, and 7,500 people in Illinois alone would be at risk of losing their housing and returning to homelessness without this.
And that would be catastrophic. And, you being modest, so let me turn it up a notch. For those that are listening, $3 billion, right? Billion with a B. So the preservation and the protection of those said dollars are critical, because that can have a ripple effect in our local economy across our state for those that was once housed, unhoused. That cripples us all. That is the strength of our collective buy-in, when we can not only make the dollar reciprocate, but ensure that folks are well. That is a part of the programmatic plan of a quality of life that I believe is starting to morph. So I got to get your take on, this rise of democratic socialists, particularly at the weight of the muscle flex by Mayor Zohran Mamdani of New York City, and ensuring the seats of 3 congressional leaders that believe as he believes in terms of the life and death situation predicated on housing and the constraints thereof, and the flex that happened in Colorado. And I can continue to point up and down and around the country of the oustings of incumbents, or even internally within the Democratic Party. What's your take on what you see happening with these real quality of life issues morphing on the ballots?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question the way you did towards the end, because I think we've been doing too much of just focusing on labels instead of focusing on the issues that people are communicating during the campaigns. I try to, other than saying that I'm a Democrat, I try to avoid labeling myself as progressive, moderate, or any of those labels. I believe in evaluating things on issue by issue. I think what voters are responding to is less so whether or not you call yourself a Democrat socialist, but the issues that you bring to the forefront. The issues regarding affordability. People are struggling, and people want to hear about that. People don't want to hear about, funding atrocities overseas. People don't want to hear about taking a soft approach to battling an administration that is committing racist, heartless acts. So people want to hear what specific issues people are going to tackle and how. And it's less, I think, about whether you call yourself a Democrat, socialist, or regular Democrat, or I think those labels are less significant than what you're talking about. I have a colleague who, Phil Weiser, who was nominated as the Democratic nominee for governor in Colorado 2 weeks ago, maybe 2.5 weeks ago. I was at a national meeting asking about his race, and people were telling me, well, he didn't have a chance. And he won that race against a well-established senator, Senator Bennett in Colorado, when 2 weeks ago it seemed like an impossibility. So people are listening. And Phil doesn't describe himself as a Democrat socialist, but he speaks to the issues of affordability and how he's fought as Attorney General to tackle those issues and many more in a very substantive and way that a lot of people have promoted just fighting, and some of it has been performative. It's not just whether you take a video of yourself at a demonstration and put it on a commercial. It's more so, what are you doing that has actual impact? And I think Phil was able to tell that story in Colorado, and it wasn't about how he was labeling himself.
No, I appreciate that. I think that that's rich and very poignant. Last but not least, it's so much that goes on, and that serving as the Attorney General. But here in the city of Chicago, our top cop is retiring, and that's Larry Snelling, who's well respected by the brass, has worked his way up from doing the beat all the way to the top cop position. What's your take on him transitioning, and your thoughts on anything incoming, especially on the heels of the start of summer? In your role, a lot comes across your desk, and I'm sure Chicago is premier. But as we embark upon the summer without our top cop, what's your take on that?
Well, let me first say Larry is a friend we've developed. I didn't really know him that well prior to him being appointed superintendent. I knew of him when he was in 3rd District, but I really got to know him over the last few years. And man, talk about difficult to replace. You mentioned that he's well respected by rank and file, but he's well respected by community too, and he's well respected by law enforcement partners. And even as we were dealing with the implementation of the consent decree, since the implementation stage of the consent decree, I think we've had like 5 different superintendents. It wasn't until Superintendent Snelling stepped in that we started really making progress on moving ourselves to well-sustained constitutional policing practices. And he knows training, he knows 21st century policing, he knows how to communicate with community. He knew how to communicate with our office during this consent decree process. He's a doer. The way he handled the DNC, we were a model for the country. The way that came off without any major issues. Do we still have crime? Of course we do. Every major city in America has a ongoing crime problem. but there's been significant reduction. And it's a huge loss. He leaves huge shoes to fill. And I'm not just saying that as I've been still trying to formulate my thoughts for my formal statement. I'm not one who rushes to make a statement. It's a lot more difficult with regards to Snelling because of how good he was. I stated such to a judge just a couple of weeks ago when discussing things with regards to the consent decree. I said, if I knew that Larry Snelling was going to be superintendent indefinitely, I'd be less aggressive about trying to get certain policies as connected to the consent decree, because I had that much confidence in his leadership.
That is profound. Well said. When you're mentioning the consent decree, I have to have you back. Every so often we tiptoe into where's an update or where are we at with that. I'm glad you opened that door. But whoever comes behind him, I'ma say they have some huge shoes to fill because he's leaving high on the hog with crime being historically at its all-time low in the city of Chicago, and just his contributions. You're right. The DNC was without a hitch. I mean, a utopia, a model for the country, the world to really revere, when so many dignitaries and folks alike from around the world came to participate in that moment. He was the top cop. And in his transition, whomever Mayor Johnson puts in there, I'm gonna trust his judgment, but I'm sure the Chicago Police Department will weigh in too of rooting for someone of their own, because I think that matters too. He was homegrown, and that did make a difference in terms of his relatability. So I agree with you so much on that.
Yeah, I told the mayor a couple of years ago, the best decision you made was to appoint Larry Snelling superintendent. And I told him, lean into it, because this brother knows what he's doing.
Well, there it is, guys. I want to thank you. Listen, this is our Attorney General, Kwame Raoul, continues to do a phenomenal job, and I'm very proud of him and his work as he continues to champion for people all across the state of Illinois. And he has some big wins, and I love that we were able to unpack them. Thank you so much for the time.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Listen, guys, more when we return.
More from Cleopatra coming up next on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. It's D.L. Hughley.
He has the lowest approval rating of any president in history. It is so bad, they stopped doing polls. The job numbers are so bad, they stopped tabulating them. If you look at the most unpopular leaders in the world, it is Netanyahu and him over North Korea and Russia.
They've been pretty chill.
So don't act like this is just something people are reacting to, because he used the Constitution like Sharma.
Weekdays at 5 a.m. on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And the match is about to begin.
Most of the team is out with COVID-19, so there'll be some substitutes tonight.
What's this? We have an unexpected guest on the field.
It's a dog that they could do with extra players.
She's going for the ball.
Our front paws, hands or feet.
Soccer season is full of surprises, and COVID-19 could be one of them. If you test positive, prescription medications may help. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Learn more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
And the match is about to begin.
Most of the team is out with COVID-19, so there'll be some substitutes tonight.
What's this? We have an unexpected guest on the field.
It's a dog that they could do with extra players.
She's going for the ball.
Our front paws, hands or feet.
Soccer season is full of surprises, and COVID-19 could be one of them. If you test positive, prescription medications may help. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Learn more at PfizerForAll.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The movement for repair is growing. From city halls to parliaments and around the world, from Chicago to Cape Town, from Evanston to the UN, I'm Robin Rusin.
And I'm Cam Howard. Together we're bringing you Reparations Now, where we talk power, policy, and progress, local, national, and international.
It's about justice.
It's about repair. It's about time.
Reparations now, because justice cannot wait.
Reparations Now, Saturdays at 4 p.m. only on WVON 1690.
WVON traffic and weather now.
No major changes in your travel times, especially on the south end of the city. As you make your way along the Ryan, the Bishop Ford, and Tuskegee Airmen Memorial, you will move along at the posted speed each way, and light traffic for now along DuSable Lakeshore Drive each way. Taking a look at our weather, we're looking at a daytime high today of right around 96 degrees. That just bumped up. Tonight's low is 79, if you call that low. Right now, temperatures are in the mid 80s. We've made it to 85 at Midway, is 85 in Avalon Park, and 85 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flanoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
I know you're in your car jamming. If not, you at your desk tapping your feet. You in the kitchen washing them dishes a little extra hard. Anytime you hear Mary J., I know you're thinking, go on, Mary. I remember I took my shippy to our first time going to Ravinia. Ooh, we were ill prepared. Thank God for our sisterhood in Delta. We ain't had to bring nothing. We just had to find the bat signal where the sun was at. We wasn't even looking. We didn't know no better. But yet and still, Mary J came out in them boots and that two-step. Oh man, it was lit. It was raining, but I had a good time. It was my shippy's birthday. And yeah, every time I think about Mary, the evolution is something about Mary. The evolution just keeps going. But listen, when you got that music vibe and you tapping your feet, let me school you real quick. The Millennium Park Summer Music Series returns to the J. Pritzker Pavilion every Monday and Thursday night. So what you doing tonight? Okay. I was watching folk break their neck to go see Patrice Rushen about a week ago. Okay. And it is Thursday night through August 6th. So you got all of the month of July and then some. And Metro is the easy way to get there. Forget circling for parking or sitting in downtown traffic, all of which is true. Just hop on board Metro and enjoy the ride. Tickets are easy to purchase on the Ventra app. Fares are affordable, and children under the age of 11 ride free. Well, amen. This summer, let Metro move you to the music, because the only thing you should be packed is on the lawn at Millennium Park, not the expressway. Take Metro, drive less so you can do more. I'm trying to tell you, I was at an event. Shout out to my homie over there in the 5th Ward. That's Alderman Desmond Yancey. And folk were breaking their neck. They gave him some dap and said, Patrice Rushen. They said, I got to go. I said, what is going on? Let's be clear. What is going down is at Millennium Park. And the way you're going to get down there is by Metro. Because all of that's true. You circling around looking for parking. They talking about me, not me. I'm going to be on the Metro in a heartbeat. So I want to thank our Attorney General Kwame Raoul. We've had such a fire show, and I'm sure matriculate throughout the other shows there after me, because that was just so pivotal in terms of what both student minister Ishmael Muhammad poured into us as we continued to celebrate and pay homage and tribute to the life of the First Lady of the Nation of Islam, Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, at the tender age of 90 this past Saturday, made her transition to Allah God, may he be pleased. And today she lies in state at the Mosque of Miriam, right there at 73rd and Stony Island. In addition to that, our Attorney General Kwame Raoul weighing in on a few rulings that came out of the Supreme Court justices, along with the path that he's fighting for in terms of the people of Illinois and protecting our assets and our money and our resources. All he do is win. So I just had to give a little sprinkle of praise that way, okay? Now, I'm going to come back to a song because I'm always being so braggadocious about our listening audience and what they know. And Renee Creswell, she said something that I was thinking, but because the show was kind of formulated, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to tiptoe into that. Oh, but I got to. And I will before I close out this show. So stay tuned for that. So everybody probably going to scroll up and say, oh, what Renee said this time? Yeah, it's like that. I'm trying to tell you, the sister code, she really, truly is. So smart, so amazing. So good morning to everyone. Queen Kim, Quintella, I see you all. I see you all in the chat. Be sure to like and share the show. And what are your thoughts, right? When you hear the profound respect of the top cop, I said, well, damn, where is he going next? What is he going to do? And then what will the mayor do? All eyes will be on that move. MK is on the live line. Welcome to the Cleopatra Show.
Good morning. Good morning, Miss Cleopatra. Thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely.
I want to make a comment about the police chief.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's smart. God bless him. One of the things, if you think back, we always told people when I left, they just put me out, paid me to leave. But when you get ready to go, you don't tell nobody you're going. See, now what he did was he got 3 years in as the police chief, okay? That make his pay raise higher. Now you remember what happened to the other police chief on the Mayor Lloyd Lightfoot. He told everybody he was leaving. All of a sudden they tried to charge him with rape. He found drunk in front of the house. He wandered across the country fighting against cases in Chicago. This guy was respected. He's a big man. And I appreciate him. He did the right thing. He's going on. He can always come back and help as a consultant. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you keep up the good work. I just want to call and talk to you a little bit.
No,
you know,
I appreciate
I always
that.
depend on you. I respect you.
No, I thank you.
I'm from Lake Park, so you keep rolling.
I will.
All right.
I will.
All right, then. Thank you.
Look at that. He right. He's talking about Eddie. Found drunk in front of the house. It was a rough ride. It was. But Eddie has risen in his own way. He makes his rounds on some of the shows. But this top cop, he's always been like a unicorn to me. I haven't really had too many sit downs. I value the way that he moves. He let his work speak for himself. How we feel Chicago, he gone or he is going, and he ain't going to the upper room, but he going to another post, and it might be no post. He might relax for a little bit, but here's the kicker: who's going to fill the post? Mayor Brandon Johnson has a task ahead of him, but he made the right selection then. Do we have faith that he can do it again? I do. We'll be back after this break.
Another hot and steamy day in Chicago as temperatures climb right back into the 90s. Good morning. I'm Annette Flournoy, and here's what's happening. America's 250th anniversary is just 2 days away, marking exactly 250 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776. There, of course, will be celebrations happening across the country. Here in Chicago on Saturday, a long-standing holiday tradition returns to Millennium Park as the Grant Park Orchestra, led by conductor Christopher Bell, blends patriotic music as the big fireworks display happens. On Saturday, on the South Side, there will be big events planned at the Obama Presidential Center. There's a celebration called the People's 4th of July. On July 4th, the foundation is launching a summer series called You Are America, a free 8-week program that will feature events, performances, films, conversations, and community programming across the center's campus. Now, the series celebrates the power of diverse voices, civic engagement, and community, and welcomes visitors from Chicago and around the world. Many of the events are free. You can go to obama.org for full details. Well, after more than 3 decades with the Chicago Police Department, Superintendent Larry Snelling announced his retirement. In a statement, Snelling says, "I am closing out this chapter of my life with a heart full of gratitude for every Chicagoan and every community partner who embraced me." Now, WVON's Logan Page has more on Snelling's decades of service with the Chicago Police Department.
Snelling, who was appointed by Mayor Brandon Johnson in 2023, was accredited with overseeing a significant decline in violent crime during his tenure. Former CPD Superintendent Fred Waller will serve as interim superintendent while the city begins the search for a permanent replacement. Logan Page, R News Now, WVON 1690 AM.
There had been speculation leading up to his announcement. Just 6 weeks ago at City Club Chicago, Snelling addressed rumors that he was stepping down.
I'm going to be here as long as I have to be here or until it's time, like any other profession.
Mayor Brandon Johnson thanks Snelling for his service and says for now, Fred Waller will take over yet again as interim superintendent when Snelling leaves July 15th. Now, this sudden change comes just 7 months before the mayoral election. Well, 3 men charged with attacking a CBS News crew are expected in court today. Perry Williams has more.
Rafael Salinas, John Twist, and William Huerta face criminal charges. Twist is also charged with a hate crime after allegedly yelling racial slurs in Monday's incident. The 3 suspects were arrested later after allegedly pointing a gun at people on the sidewalk near 42nd and Western in Chicago's Brighton Park neighborhood. I'm Perry Williams.
The janazah for Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, the wife of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is set for 11 a.m. tomorrow at Mox Mariam on South Stony Island. Now, she was known as the First Lady of the Nation of Islam. She worked alongside Minister Farrakhan to help lead the nation's social and political endeavors. The couple raised 9 children and were married for 72 years. She will be buried at Oakwood Cemetery in the Greater Grand Crossing neighborhood. She was 90. Well, that's a look at our news now on 1690 WVON. Traffic and weather up next. WVO News Time, 11:35.
It's Rufus Williams. The thrill of summer is finally here, which also means it'll be over before we know it. This fall, the Rufus Williams Travel Club is heading to Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Join me as we experience the beauty, the brilliance, and the culture of one of America's most captivating cities. We'll enjoy the charm of the Lowcountry, breathtaking scenery, incredible cuisine, and the rich African-American history of Charleston. There will also be a few special surprises designed just for our group. So whether you're traveling alone, with family, or with friends, you'll be welcomed into an unforgettable experience filled with great people and great memories. Space is limited, and the best rates are right now. Simply go to WVON.com, click on the Rufus Williams Travel Club banner, and reserve your space. Advantage International is the official travel partner of the Rufus Williams Travel Club. Charleston, South Carolina, October 8th through the 12th. Travel with people, travel with purpose, travel with us.
Matt McGill.
My brother Carl West, that's my stuff. You can use it, man. It's some cocoa butter.
What y'all doing with cocoa butter, man? What y'all doing in here? It's like puffy with baby oil, man. What are y'all doing with just cocoa butter laying around? And it's just wide open for anybody to stick their fingers in. Who's going to use this, man? I don't know whose hands been inside of here, man. Trader Joe's, they went coconut butter. They even abbreviated.
I know, right?
I don't want that.
Weekdays at noon on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
Hey everybody, this is Kendall Moore, the Kendall Moore Show, getting you from your work week to your weekend each and every Friday night from 6 until 9 p.m. I get you from your work week to your weekend. Church, tabernacle.
Kendall Moore, radio for the next generation on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM, WVON.
This report is brought to you by Blindster.com. Tired of overpriced blinds? Blindster makes custom blinds simple and affordable. You measure at home, install yourself, and save big. No retail store markups, just custom blinds guaranteed to fit. Blindster.com.
WVON traffic and weather now.
No changes in your travel times at this time, even along the inbound side of the Kennedy, where there is a disabled vehicle blocking the right lane right there at the Hubbard Street Tunnel. Traffic right now pretty heavy all the way to Damon. Taking a look at our weather, we're seeing lots of sunshine, but pretty humid again. The National Weather Service says we're headed toward a daytime high of around 95, a low tonight in the upper 70s, 79 if you want to call that low. Temperatures right now still hovering in the low 80s, though. We've made it to the mid 80s now. We're looking at 85 at O'Hare. It's 85 in Dalton and 85 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Flanoy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And we are back. The time is 11:39, and I decided to play Victor Willis' hit. You know, your president loved this song, but it's so ironic, you know. So Renee Creswell pointed out to this with his anti-gay sentiment. He comes out to the YMCA on every stage. So I was like, okay, let's raise the vibrations. You know, as Victor Willis has made his transition, he's wrote some hits. So I'm going to come back just to let you know the Macho Man, because I got a Macho Man in the building. He got a big title, too. He came in here smelling like he from banking. But no, I done made him laugh. We done found a bridge, a connection always. If you're a non-believer of how human connection truly works, just scratch at it. I'm sure I can lighten the load or let him loosen his collar. See, I don't know what happened. He might have had a towel. Now he done got real comfortable hanging with me. So listen, guys, I have the privilege to have Mr. Oscar Johnson in the studio with me. He's the head of business banking for Wintrust. Welcome to the studio.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Excellent, excellent. So, you know, I could dive into the who, what, when, where, and how, but I'm going to go this way. What is it that you like about money?
Access to opportunity comes from having resources, and having resources gives you that access. So.
And I think that is well poised and very important, because there are said communities that don't have access to resources, nor are they in the position to make the dollar matriculate, particularly more times than one. Mm-hmm. And that is often found in oppressed and depressed communities of color, particularly Black. Mm-hmm. Because in the city of Chicago, believe it or not, the most affluent chamber of commerce is right there in Pilsen. Mm-hmm. And I admire that. You know, for the most part, that is the vibration mixed with the culture, mm-hmm. but more importantly, securing the economy. Mm-hmm. So in your position as the head of business banking, let us know what that looks like in your day-to-day operation.
Yeah, so we have an accountability as a financial institution to provide said access to capital to small companies. We think about how how communities thrive, and it's through the banking system. If we're supporting, so be it home ownership, if we're supporting financing their small businesses, helping them to grow, we think about from the perspective of saving to build wealth, and that's what our accountability is. I think about Wintrust specifically, and we're keenly focused on making sure that we invest in those communities, and we pride ourselves in being a community bank.
I appreciate that, particularly at a time where the struggle to access loans or access capital are real, particularly when it comes to venture capital, entrepreneurial lines of credit, or small loans. How do you navigate and mitigate that in areas where the investment may not have morphed? Particularly, for example, if it were not for a Walmart anchoring in Pullman, the cataclysmic enclave of the other business that came off the backs of the strength of a global conglomerate willing to gamble. Mm-hmm. And too often, when you look at blighted Black communities, we don't have many risk takers. All we've had is legacy businesses that have withstood the rain. Mm-hmm. How do you navigate on businesses or entities or individuals that you're willing to weigh in on invest with?
Yeah. So part of our solution is being in the community. So if you see Wintrust branches, we are where our people are, and being out in the community and providing education and providing insight into what it takes to, number one, be an entrepreneur. Number two, how to do basic things like create a business plan. Number three, how do you continue along that continuum of providing that education piece? And then most importantly, how do we provide debt to support their initiatives and things they want to do to start and run their businesses? So we have programs specifically to help entrepreneurs and to help small businesses in all the communities where we have branches. Very specifically, we have something called an easy access loan, which provides up to $250,000 to newer companies and also small companies that, you don't have to be in business for 20 years. You don't have to have audited financial statements. So we make accommodations to make sure that we are being thoughtful about who's in the community, what their background may be, and how we can ultimately support them.
And then what are the calibers? Well, let's lighten it up a little bit. When you think about some of the businesses you have seen flourish, what kind of businesses are there? And if you want to name drop a little bit, what have been the premier ones that you've watched grow in the window of time that you've done it? You're smiling, so you know a few off the top of your head.
I know a few off the top of my head, but I cannot mention any of the names.
Oh, see, I'd be looking for some tea. Come on, Oscar. You got to give me some.
So along those lines, we have something coming up where we're going to be highlighting 40 businesses that are Wintrust clients on a show here with WVON. So
really?
That'll be an opportunity for them to talk about their businesses and also how they've used Wintrust to help support their growth.
And I'm thinking about a title for that segment, but I don't know to whom that will be gifted, but fine, I'll reserve that. Yeah. And that's fair, right? So, well, give us the caliber of businesses. You may not can name drop, but you can tell me the kind.
Can't name drop, but it's a lot in the service industry, and it's people who understand what's needed in their respective communities. They came up with the idea, and you think about it. You're an entrepreneur. You have the idea of wanting to start and run a business. You're not thinking about a bank or being a banker. You're thinking about what you can do to run your business. So where we step in is to provide guidance and support and to be a trusted advisor to help support these companies. And them identifying a need, it's identifying the need that's in their community where they're creating and started their business. So you can be a small contractor, you can be a small grocery store, you can provide any services in terms of home repair, or like I said, just a traditional service of selling products and services that are needed in the community.
And it makes me think about the concept, and I've done several shows about this. Find a need and fill it.
Mm-hmm.
Find a need and fill it. Too often we spend a lot of time talking about either what they gonna do or who gonna bring. And I'm like the Black Picasso in my region. I see a lot of color where folks see gray personally. And I think that there's so much opportunity, but navigating to a person like yourself can pose as a challenge. So listen, when we come back, I want you to unpack these sites and locations because, I'm a Wintrust girl, but I drive around and I say, "Ooh, look, Wintrust came here, Wintrust came there." And I need for our communities to know that they have an invite, there's a welcome wagon for you to walk in, and to who should they look for to help them start and navigate this space? Because one cool aspect about America, it is funded and fueled by 50% plus one small businesses. Mm-hmm. That is the driving force of the economy. And no, that is not on any of my documents. You all know a part of my evolution here at WVON was Rebuild Black Chicago. And if you don't have an EIN number by now, I don't know what you're waiting on. Everybody should have something that is transferring their gifts to commerce because it is a global trade. We'll be back. So what you want to do? We're going to talk about localities. You can definitely give some advice.
The advice is the good part. Localities, okay.
Yeah, like for me, I'm at Pullman, right?
Okay.
Over there on Halstead.
Yep.
I know.
More from Cleopatra coming up next on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
100 years ago, a genius was born in Chicago. His name was Oscar Brown Jr., and this summer, we're celebrating his birthday. Join Maggie Brown and family for the OBJ Free Community event. It's part of Jazz in the Court from noon to 5 on July 10th, featuring live jazz, spoken word, and showcasing Chicago's Africa Porter, youth activities, and so much more. It'll be a day of joy, creativity, and a celebration of one of Chicago's legendary artists. Oscar Brown Jr. Day, Friday, July 10th at Harper Court in Hyde Park. Admission is free. RSVP at hbjazz.com.
Summer is here, the season of sunshine, fireworks, and the freedom to enjoy what matters the most. And at United Fidelity Bank, they believe freedom starts with smart savings. Whether you're grilling with friends, riding bikes with the family, or watching fireworks light up the night, your money should be working just as hard as you do. That's why this summer, you can open up a 6-month certificate of deposit with a 4.15% annual percentage yield. It's a simple, steady way to grow your savings without giving up the freedom of summer fun. At United Fidelity Bank, they don't just focus on numbers, they focus on you, your goals, your questions, and the kind of personal service you won't find at a big box bank. Because at United Fidelity Bank, you get the experience you need and the service you deserve. Stop by their Chicago flagship branch at 1701 West 87th Street to open your 6-month 4.15% APY CD today, or anytime at UnitedFidelity.com. United Fidelity Bank, where your summer of smart savings begins.
Rates subject to change at any time. CDs renew automatically to the standard rate in effect at the time of renewal unless instructed otherwise. Member FDIC.
When you play the 7 times Bingo Multiply instant ticket from the Illinois Lottery, you play with purpose. Over $8.4 million has been raised to help support homelessness programs in Illinois. Purchase one to help raise even more. Be smart, play smart. Must be 18 or older to play. Game odds available at IllinoisLottery.com.
Hey Alexa, play WVON 1690 AM.
Getting WVON 1690 AM station from iHeartRadio.
Try it out for yourself. America is listening to WVON.
WVON, traffic and weather now.
Things remain pretty quiet on the south end of the city as you make your way along the Ryan, the Bishop Ford, Tuskegee Airmen Memorial, and DuSable Lakeshore Drive. You will move along at the posted speed. Taking a quick look at our weather, we're seeing bright skies, lots of sunshine, and humid today. The National Weather Service says we're headed to a daytime high of around 96 degrees. And if you factor in the heat index, it'll feel 100 plus at times. Temperatures right now climbing into the mid 80s. We're up to 85 still at O'Hare. It's 85. It's up to 87 now in Chinatown and 87 degrees here at the Talk of Chicago. That's a look at traffic and weather now. I'm Annette Roy on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And now back to the Cleopatra Show on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON.
And we are back. The time is 11:52. It's a Thoughtful Thursday on the Cleopatra Show. And I'm being real thoughtful. I'm thinking about your president and his soundtrack. He like Macho Man and the YMCA. But he don't like the people that's singing it. But he don't want to get sued because won't nobody else let him sing or dance to his soundtrack. So I thought that was a funny way to kind of, uplift the work of Victor Willis while acknowledging his transition. And we've been doing that all day. This show has been dedicated to the Nation of Islam's first lady. That's right, Mother Khadijah Farrakhan, who's made her transition to Allah, God, may he be pleased. At the tender age of 90, she's laying in state right now at the Mosque of Miriam, right there at 73rd and Stony Island. And her janazah is tomorrow. And I have been honored to have the nation uplift us. We just had student minister Ishmael Muhammad on with us from the Attorney General Kwame Raoul. And now I got Brother Oscar in the building, fresh out of the Wintrust banking industry, smelling in like new minted money. Y'all smell like newly minted money. I love it. I love it. You know, as I'm talking about the first lady of the Nation of Islam, I don't know if you have any words, but I just wanted to invite you if you did. Oh,
That's me.
if you had any words, I don't know if you had any condolences or anything.
Just condolences, and I think about a life well lived and one that's impacted the community and also impacted the world. I know
Oh yeah.
she's an amazing, amazing woman.
Oh yeah, her global thumbprint is real.
Right.
I've been expounding upon that all week. Every show has been dedicated to her. So listen, getting back to the business, Oscar Johnson serves as the head of business banking, which is no easy feat for Wintrust. But one thing about it, he is committed to access and opportunity. He talked about the easy access loan. But I'm interested to know, what are entrepreneurs saying, particularly small business owners in this time, in this industries that we're in, and under this administration and the strife, whether it was the overcoming the upheaval of the tariffs to just the clinch that they feel from their consumers of them trying to hold on to their dollar and not spending it.
Yeah. We're living in an interesting time, and people and entrepreneurs and small businesses are all providing feedback that costs are higher than they have been in the past. So the cost of raw materials being higher negatively impacts their businesses, and they're making less money. And consumers are holding on to their dollars longer, which means they're not spending as much at some of our clients in our clients' businesses. The other thing that we're hearing is that, it's just a tougher economy. Normally, businesses can be cautiously optimistic, thoughtful about how they spend the next dollar. I would tell you what we're hearing now is most are being very cautious and less optimism. How much of that has to do with the administration and some of the changes that have taken place? A lot of it. And it's negatively impacting a lot of small businesses.
Well, all of that is real. We report on that quite often. In fact, I was just reporting on the jobs report, 5,700 jobs, 4.4% decline. What do you say to that as you are empowering and giving tools through your industry, through your purview, through your lens of small businesses to sustain? What do you say about the jobs report?
I say it also points the finger to the opportunities of being an entrepreneur. And like you said, if you find a need and fill it, it then creates more opportunities. Are there fewer jobs for our people in our communities to have working for someone else? In many instances, there are fewer. So therefore, we encourage entrepreneurship.
Well, help us find out how we can get to the money, the access, the opportunity with Wintrust. What would you leave us with?
I will leave you with this. If you think about how we have grown exponentially as an organization, not only growing as a company in terms of how our financial performance has been, we've also grown by increasing the number of branches that we have in the greater Chicagoland area. Walking into a branch is still a place where business is conducted. There have been a lot of other competing organizations who've reduced their footprint in terms of branches. We've increased it because we want people to come in to ask questions. We want you to come in looking for guidance and support. And our goal is to help businesses grow. Some of the success stories that you asked about before, it is having companies come in, they're starting, we're providing easy access loans, which ultimately turn into an SBA loan as this company continues to grow, which then turned into a larger commercial loan. So we've seen companies grow from infancy to being multi-million-dollar companies that are doing business globally. So for our ability to help on the front end and to see it kind of come to fruition is what we thrive off of. So coming in to visit with us is the start of a relationship.
Listen, guys, hop on Google, find your nearest Wintrust and walk in and start today. This is the day that you decide, to whose you want to be. And you can still hold your 9 to 5 and be a small business owner, or you can dive all in. But Wintrust, apparently, they got your back, and there's so much opportunity. I want to thank you, Oscar Johnson, for stopping into the studio. That means a lot.
It's my pleasure.
All right, guys, listen. Here's the deal. Tomorrow, I had planned to be in the studio for my 4th of July segment, But that has been paused. The nation has extended an invite to myself and my super producer personally, and I'm humbled by that, to attend First Lady of the Nation of Islam, Mother Khadijah Farrakhan's janazah, and I will be present. I'm humbled by that, and I don't accept that opportunity lightly, to be a part of her homegoing services. So, in lieu of somebody gonna walk in here tomorrow, and I'm sure they're gonna hold it down on the Cleopatra Show, and I expect nothing but the best of them. And in my absence, I want you all to be safe. Put in perspective what this Juneteenth meant, and figure out how you want to celebrate 4th of July. Y'all see my pun intended. But some of you all are gonna pop firecrackers. Be safe, be wise, enjoy family, but survive to tell the story, right? Be safe, be wise, enjoy your family, and I will be with you Monday. I'm coming in with some pipe and hot tea, I promise you, because we got a lot of news that we need to carry, and Lord only knows what's going to happen from today until Monday. So whomever's in the studio, show them some love and be to class on time. Don't act up while I'm away. Don't embarrass me. Let me tell you something. When substitutes come in here, treat them like they me. Show them a little love. Show them some respect. Because if not, they tell me who they are. I'm going to make sure you write me some extra credit papers. I'm not playing on that note. Come to class on time tomorrow at 9 a.m. only on the Cleopatra Show.
An extreme heat wave continues in our area. It will remain in effect until tonight on this Thursday, July 2nd, 2026. I'm Annette Vermillion in the headlines. After more than 3 decades with the Chicago